True. I'm sorry. Right? Okay. All right. Shalom. First and foremost, all praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakak Wadash. Peace and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. All right. Once again, we coming out here to prophesy the end of this man's kingdom, which is the so-called white man Esau Edom, and to prophesy the beginning of what follows after that, which is the kingdom of heaven, led by the Heavenly Father Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai. All right, sitting on the throne of David and righteous order being set up and the elect being set up. All right, which we pray and hope to be a part of that. All right, so today we're going to get into prophecy. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on with the energy squeeze. The price of gas just shot up again. It was right hovering at least around by where I'm at. I know the national average just went up, but where I was at around New York, it was right under $4 a gallon. Now it's going over $4 a gallon. Now it's like 4.25, and it's just gonna continue to increase. It's gonna get worse and worse. Hey yo, no pictures, man, no pictures. Yeah, you good. I'm ready. Oh, it's some shit, man. I'm already on 10. Yeah, it's like he's testing. He's barking up the wrong tree, man. I'm already on 10.
There's a lot of spirits going on in the air right now. Evil spirits trying to conjure up, man.
Yep.
You know, and it's gonna come to a fall. As you can see, the Spirit Airline just went out of business. All right. So that's the signs of America declining. All right. Y'all circling the drain. Spirit Airlines is a cheap, low budget airline company, but it's still an airline company going out of business is a major corporation going out of business. All right, so y'all corporations is falling every day, right? Cuba is going through a crisis right now because of the Iran war, right? So this war is going to be bigger than you think, and there's speculations going around that uh, America is having problems with their armament, right? So it's going to be time for all these other countries to look at them with intimidation. Like, America, you ain't the big bad bully no more. We could possibly shoot the fade with you, right?
If those Iranians could shoot the fade, the Persians,
Right.
then Russia and China's looking at that like, oh, okay, shit. Which the foreign minister Arachi just met with Putin this past week. So that is a sign of them being with the Persians, being a guard unto them. All right. So that's according to prophecy. So they're saying, all right, shit, if the Iranians are holding their own against, this big empire, then how are you going to deal with the Chinese and the Russians? Because again, America, Nero, all of that, and the state of Israel is all a paper tiger. And all they have really is that nuke. They do have the strongest military and all that, but a lot of that is being proven to be ineffective. Because with all of the bombs they dropped on the Persians, have they been able to bring them to heel? No. You see, and what is it leading to? Energy squeeze, all right? Famines being spoken about. Like the brother said, Spirit Airlines, aka Soul Plane, is going out of business. All right, the airline of choice are you big back weave wearing hoes. Okay, now ain't gonna be no cheap airline flights to go to Miami or wherever the hell y'all, these hoes was trying to go to, man.
A round trip for $100 or some odd dollars. Y'all gonna be paying $500. All right, everything bread gonna be $20. All right, gas is not the only thing that's affected in this crisis that y'all having. Gas is only the means to get all these other products from point A to point B. All right, the trucking systems is going to be affected. To bring your goods, to import your goods from different countries. The tankers is not going to be able to travel on the water because they don't got the gas for it because they can't afford it. All right, so this stuff is coming, man. Second Edges 16 and 1.
And that's capitalism.
Says, woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. So all these countries is being affected by this thing, man. All right.
Yep.
And this destruction is coming to y'all. Y'all all heathen nations gonna deal with it, right? And these nuclear missiles is like having a fight. And you pull out a grenade. You can't pull out no grenade and you got the grenade in your hand, you gotta toss it. These missiles need to be launched. So they can't really go off for the strength of being we the mega nuclear power of the world, because that's like having a gun that you can't shoot. That's a gun you can't shoot. You understand? So that's you saving your best for your last. These other countries know, man, that the time has come when we can let off our 22 caliber pistols and be effective. But they got enough of them, so they ready.
That's right. And that's what capitalism leads to, man. That's what capitalism leads to. It's that global system. And because they're so driven by greed, they wanted to go to these other countries to get things made cheap, China. But now you have to ship things across the whole planet. So that's a very costly system, but everybody's making money off of it. So instead of bringing things in, we got to adjust a little bit. Instead of bringing things in locally, they decided to make this a global system, right? And that is all in line with the prophecy of the MOTB, like brother's been saying. But capitalism and all of these things and greed is leading to the current crisis now. Because of capitalism, companies wanted to get things for very cheap from places like China. Now you have to ship it across the planet. And if there's a holdup in that shipping, it disrupts the whole system. So now you're seeing the fruits of it, the end result of capitalism, the end result of greed. And that's part of the wine of her fornication is democracy and capitalism. That's the philosophy that's wrapped itself around the world that has led the nations of the earth to err, man. So if somebody could grab Lamentation, oh yeah, something like that.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 18, and verse 3. It says, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." So going back to the brother's point about the various things that America has done, all right, to have power over the earth, but then use it as a means of corruption, all right, upon the face of the earth and influencing the minds of the people upon the face of the earth. All right, tells you at the book of James, the 5th chapter, about how these so-called rich men have amassed all this wealth for the last days. And that's literally what you're seeing. They got insider trading, they got information prior to certain events taking place so they can have a better advantage, right? They have insiders that tell them certain things. They set up shit so they can gain and everybody else will lose, right? So these are all part of what Esau has been doing. They'll set shit up covertly, and then they'll use the influences of the media to propagate certain things so they can have a desired outcome, mostly wicked, you know? So ultimately, all these things the Lord is exposing in these last days by way of the prophets. Okay? All right, bro.
So,
Lamentation.
Lamentation 4, I think we go around 4 and 8. Or you might could start a couple verses, but the point is around 4 and 8.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4. Start off at verse 6. It says, "For the punishment of the iniquity of the daughter of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom, that was overthrown as in a moment, and no hand stayed on her." Break it all.
Yeah, no, that's good that you brought that precept because it shows you that Sodom and Gomorrah, what is it saying? That was an instantaneous death and there was no hand stayed upon them. In other words, it was just quick, boom, and they were out of there. But Zion, which is the Lord's people, Jerusalem, which is the Israelites, all right, the Lord Still out. Fix this real quick. There we go. Yep. Yeah, you might have to just touch the screen every so often. I don't know what's going on with this, but it's good. So yeah, so that was the hand of the Lord was stayed upon Israel. In other words, it would have been better for us to just be wiped up in an instant, than for the Lord to have this punishment, and it's going to go into what goes along with those long-term punishments when the Lord draws it out and really sends his punishment and sends that ass whooping upon you, because we know that the Lord chastises those who he loves. So he's chastising us the most. And hey, you Jakes, man, you are gonna every Israelite is gonna be in the kingdom, but many of you are gonna have to experience it after death by pain. You're gonna have to go through extreme torturous judgment in order to get and perish, and then you'll be reborn again into the kingdom like that. So
Continue. Lamentations chapter 4, verse 7. It says, her Nazarites were purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. They were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their polishing was as of sapphire.
That's like showing we were in that higher state, man. The Lord was looking at us as like, that was us in our beautiful state when we were serving the Lord. We were as the gem, says the sapphire. That's one of the gems of the what you call it, breastplate. Yep.
So continue verse 8. It says, their visage is blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered. It has become like a stick. That's verse 8 that you read.
Yep. Withered, man. Become like a stick. I'm sorry. Anyways, but it's like become like a stick. Well, that's what's gonna happen to them. Keep the bullshit up, man. They don't repent. But that's when your body basically disintegrates, you become like a stick. You ever seen those documentaries with them Hamites? And you see them in those conditions where there's a scarcity of food. They look
away.
Yeah, their belly comes out. Okay. And you're not gonna hear this in the church, in the Christian church. They're not talking about these things because that's gonna scare people away. That didn't make me feel good. If I heard that message, that'd put fear in people, which that's what they need to have, fear of knowing the judgments of the Lord. That's why it says, knowing the terrors of the Lord, we persuade men. Or if we'll read this, they'll say, well, that's the Old Testament God. But he doesn't change, though. And the New Testament judgments are even more fearful. Read the book of Revelation. Blood up to the horse's bridle. Okay? The Revelation 19, the great feast of those birds. It's a bird just flew by, as I said that.
That spirit of being tender and delicate, untouched. When you untouched, you got a preserved mind state, like, untouchable, right? Nobody could tarnish what we have going on. That spirit that y'all got right now, that y'all could be untouched, is slowly withering away. Because as you can see, this place is on a downfall, man. All right, nobody would never think that an airline will be shut down. All right, you could think of 2 years ago, Pathmark used to be around, or Kmart used to be around. That's gone. But when you talk about a major corporation like your transportation, all right, a whole airline corporation is shut down. And it's funny how it's called the spirit, because y'all in the wrong spirit. The Lord is mocking y'all. By taking out the Spirit airline, it should have been one of those expensive airlines. But the cheapest airline was shut down due to price hikes on fuel costs. All right. But the name is the reason why the Lord probably took that shit out. All right. Because y'all had bad spirits. I never flew, but the brother was saying, you know what I'm saying? Ashiel, the brother Ashiel was saying that the corporate airline is shitty. The service is shitty, so y'all got bad spirits working there, and in turn, the Lord took that bad spirit out of here. So what you think he gonna do with y'all people? The bad spirits of y'all people gonna be taken out of here in a way that y'all ain't even gonna be able to handle. Because y'all thought, oh, we was tender and delicate, we was untouchable. All right. A virgin is untouched. So she walks around with that prideful spirit, like, nobody never touched this. So y'all acting like y'all ain't been touched. But guess what, man? These people was out here lurking and gunning for y'all. And when the shit hit the fan, y'all ain't gonna know what to do. Because y'all up here jolly joking around, getting high, thinking everything is a joke, in a state of bliss. That state of oblivion is going to be knocked the hell out of y'all. Y'all going to jump into soberness when those attacks start happening, man. Because these people is pissed off with y'all, man. Every nation got a secret vendetta against y'all, man. And y'all sitting here,
Have that vendetta against
yeah. Because what they think of y'all is, oh, y'all lazy, y'all get everything and y'all don't do nothing with it. All right. Y'all don't want to work, y'all don't want to do nothing but get high and stand on the corner and do shit. And that's how they looking at y'all. Right? That day is coming soon, man. Everything, and they, like the brother said, Alon said, they not even hiding that secret vendetta no more. They blatantly showing y'all that y'all ain't shit, man. We ready to streak the fate. You know?
Yep. Hey, Elder Tazawam said most of the customers and customer-facing employees were the black ratchet woman. Yeah, exactly. That was, like I said before, that was the airline of choice of big back, weave wearing, long nail having ass Gorilla Eve, man. Gorilla in the mist.
You coined it, soul plane.
Soul Plane, yeah.
You coined that.
That's it. That's Soul Plane. That's Soul Plane, the movie in real life. When you get on that damn spirit flight, man.
And the Lord mocking y'all, man. He took that out, so y'all ain't gonna be able to pay that cheap round trip fee no more. Y'all gotta go to JetBlue or American Air United or something. All right. And once they go, then you'll really start seeing that yeah, shit is getting crucial. All right.
This is what the Lord said in Proverbs, the first chapter. He said, I will laugh when your fear cometh, right? I will mock when your calamity cometh. Basically, because just like in Isaiah 19, where it says the spirit of Egypt shall fail. If the Lord is like the brother Debar said, the spirit of Egypt, you got Spirit Airlines, which is part of the spirit of Egypt. People traveling, they're not traveling because they got to go see the prophets or they go into some type of like educational vacation. Like, I'm gonna go to Italy so I can go to the museums and learn about history. They're not doing that. They booking vacations to go be hoes and sluts, go pick up a whole bunch of diseases and come back and spread it to the community, man. You know what I'm saying? That the Lord is doing away with all those things, man. All right, so like the brother said, it's a mockery. Spirit Airlines, all right, the Lord is completely disintegrating this place, man. Little by little, deconstructing this place. Now, you made a point, going back to Lamentations, the 4th chapter, and we brought out, I'm gonna just bring it back real quick. All right, Lamentations 4 and 8, it says, their visage is blacker than a coal. They are known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered. It has become like a stick. All right, and that is the Lord bringing down the nation of Israel because of our disobedience. Right, when you read the previous verses, we went into how, as a matter of fact, let me bring it back. Right, verse 7, Lamentations 4 and 7 says, her Nazarites were purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. They were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their polishing was of sapphire. That's an extravagant look. That's a high level way of living, if you will. Okay, that's like, okay, you are the top of the top, but because of your disobedience, I'm going to bring you down to the ground. Right? The Lord says, what? Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked because you were good. You were in a good state, so you took for granted the ways that got you to be good, the food that got you to be good. You forgot all about Him, man. So what did He do? He brought us down to the ground. What did we turn into? We became a valley of dry bones. To go from rubies and sapphire to a valley of dry bones, right? And now He says, I'm going to build you back up again. So the same thing is going to happen to this kingdom, but this time it's not going to be just dry bones. It's going to be complete desert, man. You're going to go from excellency to complete degeneracy, where it's going to be just a graveyard that turns into a desert over time. All right? That's what the Lord is going to do to this place. Look what He did to His people. Look what He's going to be doing to this place, man. All right? Got a little bit more?
Yeah, that was, I think where it said they find a way.
Oh, okay. All right. So continuing, verse 9, it says, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through the want of the fruits of the field.
Hey, and that's saying that basically it's better for you to perish by the sword. And before that, it mentions that Sodom's judgment came quickly, but whereas the Lord stayed his hand upon Israel, so that we felt that famine, that pain, and all of the other things associated with being brought down as a nation. So now the Lord is going to flip it around, because when you go to the end of the chapter, a matter of fact, you could jump to it. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. Because all of the things that we suffered, you think the Lord is going to make us go through that, and he's not going to have the wicked suffer? They're going to suffer too. And they're gonna have it even worse, because guess what? They're going to get famine. The Lord is going to have his hand stayed, and they're going to get the Sodom and Gomorrah at the end of it. So you're going to get the best of both worlds, baby. All right, you're going to get famine. A lot of people are going to starve to death, and the Lord can have it to where he preserved you for the missile still. So you a damn skeleton already, and then you just, if missile come, bro, you done. Bro, you already look like Sarah Connor after the scene, and the scene's just started. Like, you done for. You cooked. But here it is. These people are still haughty, man, and prideful, and they just living their life. Again, we said that they expecting that 2028 to come, or the midterm elections to come, and shit, I don't even see that happen. I'm speaking as a man, but the way shit is going, I see them just shutting shit down and saying, "Listen, we can't even have elections. I'm sorry." Yeah, and then he want that third term, like he said. So we'll see how it plays out. But either way, that's not going to change a damn thing. That's not going to change a damn thing. All right, by bringing in the Democrats or doing this and that, all that shit is played out, and they going for it. So it's better for you to die by the sword than to pine away, and that is exactly the topic and the main talking point these days. All of the geopolitical people, all of these different YouTube so-called watchmen, which they're not the real watchmen, but they are quote unquote truthers, right? They're talking about these things. They're saying that famine is coming. They're saying the fertilizer disruption, even if they bring everything back right now, there's still going to be a major disruption, and it's still going to lead to famine. And that's if they stop it right now, and it's no signs of them even doing that. The price is still going up. Okay, everything's still increasing. The price of gas just shot up again. It's over $4. And brothers, yeah, you got it.
I was going to say, in Cuba right now, they're dealing with a crisis of shortages. They got garbage in the streets right now because their garbage trucks can't run because of the lack of fuel for them. All right. The cost of food, everything in economics, Cuba is suffering greatly right now. And that's just a small microscope of all the other countries that's going to fall in suit behind them because of this war in Iran. All right. And then ultimately, that's when they're going to set up the the globalization of the sea hip, because they feel like, okay, now we got the world in a trick bag where they need us for all things, and it's a small amount, so we're going to have to ration it out based upon this new currency. So y'all got it coming, man. Famine is they're going to be giving y'all like a small ration, man. That ain't going to, the food that y'all used to eating, the amounts of food that y'all used to eating is going to be drastically reduced. All right. Till it's next to nothing.
Yeah, I was telling brothers, y'all gonna have to get used to these people, not y'all, because the Lord is gonna feed his men. But y'all people gonna have to get used to them gruel sandwiches, man. Yeah, if y'all never heard about gruel, it's basically watery grains where they have to stretch it out. So they'll take a little bit and it's like a soup. It's just disgusting. It's basically prison food. And you people are not used to that. You used to Big Macs and double baconator and all of this extravagant shit and all of this luxury, which the scriptures talks about that. The scriptures talks about living high off the hog, like people say, man. Living living the high life, living that life in the lap of luxury, man.
Having it your way.
Having it your way. BK, have it your way. right? That's the American way, man. Greed, lust, you know, and lust is not just a sexual thing. People lust after a burger, man. You know, Eve see a burger, that shit probably turn her on, man. Well, how?
Lusting.
Right.
Right. What's wrong with it is what you're lusting after.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
They call it food, was it foodgasm?
Yep.
They people. I mean, you got people that get off on pain. You got people that get off on the pleasure of eating.
Mukbangs,
That man.
mukbang video where they just eating crab legs and crab boil, and it has to be an abomination.
Oh, you know, I saw a video. I didn't put it in the chat to spare y'all, but you had this big fat black. Now you know this guy's fat when his he got discoloration, different colors of black. You know, when the back of the neck's like super dark, and then the armpit area and shit. This nigga gonna open the video with some nasty ass shit. Freaking half-eaten meat sandwich from Arby's. Dude pulled it from under his belly, bro. Nigga, big black dude just comes up. He pulls his shit from his stink ass belly and pulls a freaking mozzarella stick from his belly button. And then he sits down with this disgusting. You know, he got a little sauce on your hands and shit, and he got the hand in front of the camera and shit. Yeah, got this today. Oh, this was the best one. I'm like, oh, this is so disgusting, bro.
Stop fucking around, bro. Come get these
Yeah, you're the real terrorist.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, man.
Yeah, them niggas, they take them to the hospital. They probably hook them up with an IV full of lard, man. Keep the nigga living, you know? Nasty ass niggas, man. But that's the greed of America, right? That is the greed, you know? Unbridled lust. That's capitalism, you know? And this is why you're suffering now. Because your corporations are so greedy that, again, they had to go to these other countries and bring in cheap shit. But now the shipping and everything that, you know, it's just an upside down system. You're doing so much just to get cheap things made out of plastic and petroleum and all this bullshit, you know? So the whole shit has to come down, man. Otherwise, the earth would be destroyed, man. Because capitalism, the greed of continuously consuming everything, you know, it says what? He is as death and cannot be satisfied. You know, you are as the grave, man. You know, that's what he's likened to. If a brother could get Habakkuk, the second chapter, because that's what we see unfolded right now, man. All right, and Jeremiah 28 too.
28 and 8.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why the Lord says when he's about to fill his belly, he said that through the prophet Job. Okay, when he's about to fill his belly, all right, the Most High is going to cast his fury upon him. All right, so that greed, when you fill in your belly, that's a greedy ass move, man. You know what I'm saying? You're not just eating to be satisfied. You just filling your belly as in gluttonous. I'm taking whatever. And that's what you're seeing. They're creating a system of taking everything. When they tell you own nothing and you'll be happy, who the fuck is going to be owning everything then, huh? Who's going to be having the riches of the earth to control everything? Tokenization and all that. Who's behind all that? Like the brother said, it's all these giant corporations, man. Ruled over by these damn elites. All right, so it's literally a pyramid. And as you go higher, there's less people there, but there's more power concentrated up there, man. And they're stripping everyone of their bare minimum needs of survival. That what they call the Maslow's hierarchy, right? The lowest level is where they want people to be at, where you're literally living to survive. Like, what kind of shit is that, man? You're living to survive. You're just alive to survive. What the fuck? Like, what is that? You know, but that's what Esau wants. He wants to create that world, that system. He's doing it right now. People can't see it. Your gas price is not going to come back. They're not going to come back down. Them days are over. Because when they asked Trump when the gas price is going to come back down, he said when the Iran war is over. Iran war is never going to be over. It's this that kicks into World War III and then goes nuclear. So when is that going to be over? When America is destroyed? Is that when the gas price is going to go down?
But hey, at least Iran doesn't have a nuke, right? Right. So it's all good.
So then it should be over then.
Right. But didn't y'all take that shit out last June?
Right.
Yo, this shit is a mess,
Yeah,
man.
it respawns.
Yeah, he respawned, you know?
Yeah, ambitious.
Yep, he queued up to a new match.
Yeah,
You know? But that is his lies and deception, man, being exposed. And it's always a different story. He lies and lies and lies, but he's the father of lies, man. You know, he's the original, the OG liar, man. This is the man who murdered his own brother and said, oh, you know, am I my brother's keeper? You see, with blood on his hands, and still did that. And God's dealing with the Most High, man. So how you think he's going to deal with you people? It's just going to continue to wax worse and worse, man.
Get up. Which one you got? I got Jeremiah. Oh, you got a point.
Oh, my God. You mentioned about steak.
Oh, grilled sandwiches. Yeah.
Green.
So, essentially, I did a lesson on, I think it's the first Edges show or something like that. And there was a guy stuck down thing, and he said that essentially, to add on to what Ashdell was saying, how people are going to go from hamburgers to hamburger helper. And essentially, what he was saying is that you're not going to have the abundance and the ability to eat the way that you eat before. Because what? A hamburger is something that's well prepared. Hamburger helper is just slop meat. It's just something that it's just quick and easy. So you're going to go from, like the brother saying, eating very good and having ability to, eat what you want, to not having the ability to eat what you want. You're going to have, like you saying, Ezekiel, the 4th chapter, eating and drinking by measure. You're not going to have access to the same amount of food that you once had. Just to add on to the brother's point. That is the definition of famine. And many different prophets mention famines as an end time prophecy of judgment from the Heavenly Father. Okay, so you're seeing the build up to famine. What do you think is going to happen next? When Yahushua talked about the major plagues that's going to befall this place, and he called it the beginning of sorrows. We're seeing, like, think about that, man. So, Lord, you need to tell me rumors of wars and rumors of wars, famines, pestilences, earthquakes, and diverse. These are all devastating things that will be considered sorrowful time. You mean to say that's just the beginning of sorrows? So, in other words, the bad things is what is the catalyst of the worst things to come, the time like never before. So we're living in a time of the beginning of sorrows, as in, like, this is the start of the sorrows. What comes next? The sorrows. Okay? And you're never going to escape that until the Lord comes back. Remember, when the woman is in travail, right? The Apostle Paul mentions that when you're in travail, you don't stop the travail until the baby comes out. And it gets worse before the baby comes out. The contractions and all that. We haven't even gotten to that contractions part, man. So imagine that. What kind of pain? Like, now she's like, oh shit, I'm starting to feel something. That's what's going on. Okay, that's why the American people are concerned. They was pushing Biden and them out, the Democrats out, hoping that the Republicans are going to come in and save the day. The Republicans come in and make it worse. Now they're saying we want the Democrats back, like it's going to change something. You dumbass people don't understand that the left-right shit is what the problem is at in the first place. The left or the right, you go to the same destination, just in a different way. One might take the highway, one might take the scenic route, but you're still going to the same exact location, man. All right?
Yeah. Quick precept, Isaiah 13, verse 14. And it shall be as the chased robe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man him turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own country. Yeah, this place right now is being used up, and it's showing that this place is worthless now. So people are going to use it and go back to their own country, man. And that's what they're doing. Because everybody's sticking to their people and saying F America right now, because America is effed up. Right? Everything that they had, that they was promised, they not getting. Your pension, you're not getting it. All right, your 401k plan, you're not getting it. All these things is backfiring for a major corporation. Even though it's a low budget Spirit Airlines, they see that that's out of business. They not fucking with this place. They not investing in no companies here no more. They looking at this place as a shithole now. You probably got a better off chance in Dubai than you got here. No? So every man fleeing to their own country, man. And that's what we looking at. So this place is like X'd off as being a danger zone. Like, ain't nobody really coming here for tourist attraction. So most of their major stores is closing. The post office about to close soon. This place is going down the drain, man. We just stay in tune and bringing y'all the breaking news constantly. That's it.
Spirit Airlines, man. Spirit Cooking Airlines, man. And they name it that, knowing that it's all witchcraft, knowing that it's all, a setup for something else. Because ultimately, they don't want people flying for cheap no more. Flying cheap, that's over with. You can kiss that shit goodbye. With Spirit Airline, that was the final gavel slammed down on that shit. No more flying cheap. No more Eve flying out to go have a party and be a whore in another state, another city, running around playing the harlot. That shit is over with, man. Now you're going to be forced to look in the mirror and face your miserable life as it is, man, because people that, especially these women that vacation a lot, they do that to escape from their life because their life is miserable. So they always have to be in the next city to get away from the misery that their life is. And then once they come back, they're depressed again. And then they spend all of that time leading up to their next vacation so they can escape the same hell that they've created for themselves. So that's how you're in a constant state of delusion. You're in a constant state of destruction. You know, all of them, man. All of these street stalkers out here, man. You know, y'all are in a constant state of trying to get male attention. All right, trying to live out this dream of being a boss babe or whatever. You know, and these men, you know, these men are feminine, trying to get attention, all these things. So again, the Lord is removing the spirit from Egypt. Looks maxing, that's a new thing. They beat on their face with a hammer to try to look more handsome or whatever. You know? Or you could touch.
Yeah, there's like a thing that they chew on to make their jawline stronger. Kind of like what happened to Stewart and that episode. I forgot what happened to him, but like he started having that chisel. So that's what they do. It's not just working on their body and things like that. There's like some little ball thing
it's called mewing.
like, to make their jawline more.
Yeah,
with that one, it's like because you know it's like training a muscle, right? To give you more definition in your face. But like, yeah, exactly, they take it to a whole nother level. Because then they throw the makeup on there too. You know, makeup can make your face look like more flush or like skinnier. You know, make your cheekbones pop and stuff like that. So they throw that on there. They already started drawing in the hairline. Been doing that? Yeah, hell yeah. That's the look factor. That's what they call it. Yeah.
It's like the opposite of what Eve.
Yeah.
But it's like to be like in a masculine way, but it's getting to. I didn't know that people makeup on.
You do.
Then you have that. Then you also have like the Ozempic thing that's going on. Like the famous, there's this actress. Her name is like Olivia Wilde. I think it is. How people can't even recognize her and things like that. I don't know, but I remember I told you about the chick Starlight.
Oh, yeah, that's her.
No. I forgot her name. Yeah,
You look crazy now.
yeah, but I don't know if you remember like season 1, boys. That was how she looked normal. She was cute looking, but as she goes through the season, she actually looks like now it's like she looks fat. Like it's like a mixture of how she looked before, but like how she looked in season 1. Because in season 1 she looked skeleton.
Yeah.
But you know why do you think all these things are happening now? Because remember, this is we've been bringing this up for years. This is all part of their ability or their agenda for that whole concept of transhumanism. When you start transforming your body on a lower level, eventually, because it's not enough to look a certain way. Look at these women; they start off with Botox. It might start off with just a BBL, and the next thing you know, she's doing something else. And then there's always something else, and they always elevate, and it gets worse and worse and worse. It's like the Kardashians, exactly. It's like doing something else to get a higher high. You know what I'm saying? So eventually, the highest high is going to be physically transforming your body and merging with robots. That's the ultimate form of transformation, the transhumanism. So these little things that's being pushed out there, it's not organically done. Nobody just getting up randomly just with an idea. I want to, what's it called? Face
Looks
masking?
maxing.
Look maxing. That's a crazy ass terminology right there. But whatever. Sorry, you pretty much maximize your look. But then you look crazy as fuck doing it. Contour. Yeah. That's bad game, bro. Yo, that's OD game, bro. But see, this is what they do. And they got the men on here. So now it's going to even speed up because Esau's agenda never works until the men are back. The women could do it and it's not going to do nothing. But as soon as the men start doing it, the shit starts actually taking effect.
As they use the women to get the man.
Bro. So this is all part of the transhumanism agenda. You're going to start seeing a lot more. This whole genital mutilation that they got that the children doing, that's all part of getting your brains accustomed to seeing people not look normal. Okay, because soon you're going to have freaking what they call humanoid robots. They got that right now. In Germany, they got a sex brothel that's just freaking robots and niggas going there to bang robots out. What the fuck does that even mean, bro? What are we doing? What are we doing? And you got women crying, talking about, oh, they single, men don't want to date us no more. What happened? You know? Look at the creation Esau has, the confusion this nigga has created, man. And you want us to sit around and not say nothing about it? Well, don't you know brothers got children too? Like, you got to actually safeguard their minds, man. You know how hard it is? It's like damn near mission impossible. If the Lord does not intervene on your behalf, you're not going to safeguard your children's minds. What they consume on a daily basis is damn near hard to police. I've gone to homes where you got little children watching cartoons and they got demonological terminologies in there. And they mask it like it's a cartoon or a children's show. But I'm like, yo, as a child watching these things, it's going to have an influence on your mind because you take a liking to these characters. You know, you start to like these characters, thinking that's cool. It's okay for two boys to be kissing. It's okay for two girls to be making out. You know, all this weirdo shit that's going on, man. Like, we gotta, as men, we have to literally take a stand. And you guys gonna come with ridicule and condemnation, but guess what? That's what happens when you stand for righteousness in a wicked world. So if you don't want to deal with that, then you're gonna be subject to the punishment of getting you to the point of no return, man. Where you're gonna be like, damn, what could we have done to not get to this point? Because I thought maybe by ignoring it, it's not gonna come to me, but by ignoring it, it got to my door even faster, man. You didn't make a stop. You didn't stop that shit. You didn't let it be known that we ain't with this shit, man. And whatever's gonna come with it, we're gonna deal with it, man. Yeah, bro, start up.
Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls is a cartoon that's based on everything that's secret, esoteric knowledge, like demonic masonry. How you gonna make a child cartoon about Masonic situations? Like
Yeah,
the kids don't even know
triangle, the
about
eye
yeah,
and shit.
yeah. The fez with the cap, the grandfather with the
Yeah,
fez
yeah,
cap.
yeah, yeah.
They don't even know about this stuff. It's like y'all implanting it into babies at an early age so they can be used to it when they see it on regular everyday life, like news and sports and what have you. Like this thing that they making the World Cup so big. Like, why is the World Cup such a major situation, right? Where they paying hundreds of dollars for tickets? Like, what the hell is that? So they trying to get us prepared for that Roman type of thought. Back in ancient Rome, the games was like everything to them. It was their political system. It was how they governed the world, how they governed the land. Was based upon when the Caesars opened up the arenas. That's what made you a better president. So by having the World Cup, you think you're gonna get a better president? Y'all think that that's gonna do anything politically for y'all? That's just a setup to show y'all that we control y'all for the smallest endeavor, man. We can control y'all from the TV shows to the sports, definitely the news. Like some people be so focused on the news and don't even realize that that shit is completely uh engineered. Today's news, you gotta go to the off-air news corporation to find out what's really going on. You sit up there and listen to regular news, they're gonna give you minute shit to talk about. They talk about the minor crimes that go on in the city. All right, they might throw a little hints of the gas situation, but they ain't telling you the real deal. They're not really telling y'all that these dudes is in bed together. So this fabrication is really really controlling our minds to be like puppets, man. It's a brainwashing system, right? And we the virus, man. Like that old movie with Sylvester Stallone. He said, uh, "Y'all the virus and I'm the cure." Well, we the cure, but in the same sense, we putting the virus inside the matrix. We the ones that's bugging the matrix to stop, to get y'all to wake up, man. All right?
The glitch in the system.
Yeah, we the glitch in the system. That's it.
Also on the topic of, mentioning how things change. So when you watch certain YouTube videos, like I can't think of the channel right now, but like some they're awake and woke to like the social program and stuff like that. So when you mentioned how you look back at the movies that we grew up on, like Conan, them older movies where Jean-Claude Van Damme, that Rocky and all that, the main leads was men, right, and things like that. Now I know the women are men, but listen, great leaders, right? I want to hear this. But listen, when you had that developed a certain mindset in a man. Like look at Rocky 4, how Apollo Creed died in the ring, and then what? Rocky had to train, and although he was scared, he still had to what? Go out there and avenge his friends. Not like back then, it's not about being a simple like Captain Sabo, but some of those older movies, what you had the damsel in distress, woman that couldn't help herself. But then what? The man would be heroic. He would what? He would go there and save them. Even back some of those older movies, but men were thinkers. They didn't just whatever, or like how you have movies today where the man's like an idiot. They thought, they think things through. They were logical thinkers. They were critical thinkers. Right. That's how, like those 80s, 90s movies, that's how men are. But through the years, they slowly added women to it. And then what? You have women where I'm not that damsel in distress. I don't need to be saved to. Now, I'll just use this show as an example where you have the lead hero is a woman, Stranger Things, where it's 11, she's the hero and things like that. You had season 4 when they faced off against Vecna at the end. They had that song that everybody likes, Running Up That Hill. And I think it's what is it? Sister Nancy Wheeler. She was the one, not Steve, who's a dude. No, she's the one running up there. And, they have the music sound all epic and everything like that. And she's the one going up there shooting Vecna. It's like that changes everything because now you're showing women that hey, you can step up, you can be up. But like a lot of you women are not. You watch all the time. I used to watch Lifetime movies. I'm not gonna lie. All the time, it used to be the complaint of women always, specifically white women. Sorry. You white women always tripping on the floor anytime something happens. And that's true. I've seen it with women just in general. Anytime something happens, it's like, but that's the mind of women. It's not to sit there and say you're not strong, but when it comes to situations like that, you have movies like you don't have a lot of movies like that with now. I just down to they're the ones that
Gotta close everything.
probably have control strong, whatever, but you have Homeland who's practically Superman. It's like it doesn't get any stronger than that. Then you have his father, what's his name, Soldier Boy, who's pretty much the predecessor of him. But it's like, again, you can't leave the women out. We always have to put the women in. Especially it's also a black woman. So it's going to get the metrics, the numbers up, and things like that. So again, flock it. Damn, you remind me of everything. Right, that's another thing. Right, yeah. So, I don't know if you want. So it's an Asian chick, Asian dude. That essentially his powers is he could change between a dude and a chick. The dude I think is super strong, but then when he transforms into a chick, he like has force field powers or whatever. And at some point in the show, they don't show it, but when he deals with the chick, he'll switch in and out.
Since you get the best of the worst of both worlds.
Right. So that's how that essentially that show is. But again, to show you that dealing with men and things like that, the social engineering, they've dumbed men down, brought down the minds of men to where it's like you don't look at like Rocky and things like that. Like what did Rocky teach you to do? Persevere, face the odds, right? Eye of the tiger and all that type of stuff. Even though the odds are against you, you would still rise up to the occasion and still go out there. His first fight, he lost against the politician. But he still went out there and still championed. People still know, like, yo, this is the guy that was a nobody. But he went out there and went against Apollo 3, which is a professional, and still put up a good fight. That could teach men to do things, to aspire to things. But now I can't think of a lot of shows that teach you to aspire to do things. Even I'll mention another one like Dragon Ball Z. Now it's Dragon Ball Super now, but you had the old Goku, which from Dragon Ball Z, which was intelligent, was smart, he was a thinker. He wouldn't be willing to essentially put the universe at risk for a fight. Right, he wants to fight, but I'm not willing to put the universe and my friends at risk. Now you have Dragon Ball Super, which I'm sorry, but that shit ended like 2018 or 2017. We're about to enter a new season now, anyway, if that shit comes out. This new Goku in Super is a complete dumbass. All he wants to do is fight, and it's like, okay, fine, you want to fight, but the tournament of power, the Universal Survival Saga, this nigga is essentially risk all the universe's erasure, because that was the whole thing. If you lose during the tournament, your universe gets erased. Oh, because I want to have a good fight. Nigga, who is the strongest person, the red nigga, Jiren, the big brolic nigga with the bug-ass eyes, If that nigga say, you know what, fuck it, I'm not playing with you niggas, I'm ending everybody there. Goku, do you know you would have fucking lost your fucking universe, you dumbass? But that's how they're writing villains now, or characters, where it's like they're not thinking. Old Goku was not like that. But just to show you in everything, they're like dumbing things down now. Where yes, even Akira Toriyama said, look, Goku's not really a hero. He really wants to fight. But the way they made Goku from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, he's like, I don't want to say socially awkward. It's just, if you understand, if you watch Dragon Ball, he didn't grow up with anybody. He was just a kid by himself. He had his grandpa, but his grandpa died, huh?
He was a wild boy.
Right. So that's that. If you watch Dragon Ball, he had that scene where he slapped Bulma on a pussy and things like he lifted up his shirt. But it's like you gotta understand, he didn't grow up with anybody to tell him, yo, you can't be doing stuff like that. So Goku is like an awkward person. He doesn't like, he doesn't know. Yeah, that's what he said. Essentially, he was like, yo, you're not like me. Like, why don't you have balls? And it's like, Bulma's like, yo, what the hell's wrong with you? He doesn't know how to interact with people. Over time, as he grows up and things like that, he gets with Chi-Chi. He starts to know. He's still a dumbass to a degree, because like in GT, he tells Bulma, he's like, yo, like, what's up with you? Why do you look so old? And it's like, it never dawned on you not to tell a woman she looks old. But that's Goku. He's never had, experiences with people like that. But as he grows older, if you watch it from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, he starts to become a little bit more wiser. He's still a dumbass to a degree. He's still the lighthearted person, but he becomes a little bit more wise. I'm not willing to, risk the universe and things like that. But this new Goku is a fucking idiot. It's just all I want to do is fight. And that's what you see with a lot of shows. It's just a lot of like having amp music, but it's like the characters, the men specifically, a bunch of dumbasses, but the women always intervene and want to step up and do things, and they seem like they're the boss. They're the ones that's doing things. You have a lot of commercials, even with that, where it's like a woman, she's standing there, she's like, the athletes know it. They look at masks and they're putting themselves out there. It's like, yo, we don't need the men no more. Like, we had recently Andrew, we said that, yo, you're just a plus one. Like, I don't need you for anything, because the older generation or their mothers or their aunties, whatever, taught them how to not need a man. But it's like, yo, you're the only, specifically, mostly the only race where your women tell you, or you're the ones that's taught you don't need a man. You don't hear that from people. You don't hear that. Chinese people, especially, they're all family oriented. They understand we all need each other. Our people are the only ones, specifically the Black Americans, you're the only ones where it's like, yo, I don't need a man. If a man's with me, it's a plus one. You don't hear that. It's like, yo, even if they have grievances or problems or whatever, like the whole Meg Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson thing. If there is something like that happens, those other nations, it's quiet. It's the hush. It's not a public thing for everybody to know. But for our people, everybody has to know your fucking business. Right. So I apologize for going along with it like that. But it's just a lot of things that this is all the workings of Esau here to bring our people down. Specifically bring the men down, because the men, like the brother saying, is really the issue.
But then the rest of her minions came out and said that now they all gonna cheat on their men and supported that shit. Like, yeah, and it's like, yo, but if it was flipped, if it was reversed, it would have been just like, I guess he just wasn't doing it for her. Since you got to move on and do what's best for you. That's not bullshit.
He would have been canceled.
Yeah, exactly.
But we all knew that wasn't gonna be a thing that's like real legit relationship. It's like all these celebrities get together. Like, I remember when Kanye West was with Kardashian, whatever. I'm like, this thing look organic. Like, these people just do this shit it's like partnership, business partnerships, and publicity. Yeah, like stuff like that. It's not genuine. I'm like, Klay Thompson, you really gonna deal with this? Go get you some nice story and just deal, bro. Why are you dealing with this whore? This whore, he's despicable. It's probably a nigga. Who knows? Right? He called himself Meg the Stallion. What kind of energy are you, conjuring up, calling yourself a stallion? Stallion is a male horse. Have you ever seen an actual stallion? Them niggas is huge, biggest. They're not normal, regular horses, man. And she gonna call Meg the Stallion, and a nigga say, "Oh, I find that attractive."
Yeah. Now that's something that I think his name is Paul Pierce. He's a former NBA player. He was saying on our podcast that Meg Thee Stallion just worked with Klay Thompson just to get through the season. And he was saying, look, you gotta understand. A lot of guys, he said, I don't do it. I'm not saying me, but he said a lot of NBA players, he knows that, look, they get with a chick. Yeah, I'll invite you to know my family, all that, but you're just working the season. That's it. And even a lot of women do that same thing. So remember, ladies, you want equality, right? So you're getting that treatment. Even now, there's stuff on social media where they do it jokingly, but the women will say, "Oh, we're gonna do men like how they do that. I fed him, I fucked him, I did all this, and now I stepped on his way. See how he likes it." And then the dude's like, "Yo, it's not great. It's like you're not. It's not working. Everything that you're doing is not working to your benefits." Like you just said, "Oh, hey, since Klay Thompson, supposedly, which it's allegedly, don't know if that's true, cheated on Meg Thee Stallion. Oh, we're all going to cheat on our men. So what's that going to do for you now? Let's say you cheat on your man, but you really need him, and you get into a bad situation. Where you going to come back and say, oh, babe, I need... Think about that. That dumbass shit. I'm going to... I don't know this woman, nor their relationship, but because she got cheated on, I didn't get cheated on. But because she got cheated on, I'm going to cheat on you for that. But mind you, this is the sex that since I was young, that's older than told that, oh, women are smarter than men. This is the smart ass idea that you fucking come up with. This is the really the dumbass idea that you come up with. A social media influencer that you don't know, she got supposedly allegedly cheated on, and hey, we're all gonna cheat on men because of that. To make what statement? To say what?
Man can't cheat anyway.
Right.
No such thing as a man cheating. But that's some made up shit that they made up, and Esau enables them to just make all this bullshit up. Where is cheating in the Bible that a man cheated on his woman? That ain't in the scriptures, man. You know, you're allowed to have more than one wife as long as you do it in order. As long as the woman that you're dealing with don't have a husband, you can deal. And as long as you can handle that and take care of it, because then it comes with responsibility. Because you're popping them, you have a baby, and you got to be able to take care of that too. So it comes with a certain responsibility. But yeah, man, these women, they don't want to deal with that. Rich man like him, he's gonna want to have more than one. You know, you thought you were special. Oh, bitch, you just the flavor of the week. He moved on. You know, and that's what it is, man. But I'm gonna jump back to Jeremiah.
Yeah. That's all good. 28. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 28, and verse 8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence.
Yeah, hey, against these great kingdoms and their evil, wicked places, man. For all of the reasons that brother's been mentioning. These type of things can only happen in a wicked society. You know, women having a serpent authority over the man. The scripture says that a woman would compass a man.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 22.
Sorry, it's real brother. The story of Esther at the beginning with Vashti, because for disobedience to a man, eventually a decree was made. Because what? Eventually the women will see that because of her disobedience, like told her to come to the party because you want everybody to look upon her beauty. But she didn't do that for whatever reason. Scripture avoids it. So because of that, the king's his princes, like I think the chamberlains are described as, essentially said, look, let's make a decree so to put Vashti away, and that hey, get a better woman or get a next woman, because if not, all the women in the kingdom, essentially, that's going to be spread abroad. Everybody's going to hear that and sit there, and what? The other women are going to be moved by that and be like, oh, well, we don't have to listen to our men. So we're going to put that to, we're going to nip that in the bud immediately. Put Vashti to the side and get you another woman. So that's going to show what? Everybody from the top to the bottom in their empire that, hey, you can be replaced, like you were saying. You just like Paul Pierce said, you were just a flavor of the week. That's it. You were just some work. After that, he's going to move on to something else. That chick, Madam Joyce, she was saying he didn't know who Klay Thompson was until he got with Meg Thee Stallion. Baby girl, he's either 3 or 4-time NBA champion. Oh yeah, 4-time NBA champion. That team will go down as one of the best NBA teams in history. So it's like, what do you mean even me, I don't pay attention to basketball. Even I know about Klay Thompson. Now, first name you hear is Steph Curry, but then after it be Klay Thompson. Because, in association, because you're on the same team. So we all knew who that nigga was. Even me, I don't pay attention to basketball. I knew who the fuck he was. I think her name is Madam Joyce. I don't know who the fuck is that.
Who the fuck is you? Like, these females are so out of order, it's fucking annoying. And very soon, they're going to get that taste of reality. And you're going to realize just how unimportant you are. You base your life on things that's not based on reality. You live in a fantasy world and you want us to accept that as reality. That's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's never designed for that to happen. You might have Sims I mean, play along just so they get some pussy. But guess what? When you're dealing with real men, you're gonna be in order. We're not playing that back and forth bullshit. Look, if you out of order, get the fuck on. Let's keep it moving. We don't want you around us, man. Because guess what? The Lord Yahweh outside runs the show. And he has men appointed on this earth as judges to rule the earth. Right now, we're not in the position of rulership, but we have that rulership mentality. So if you come around us, you're going to have to fall in line, and it's going to be beneficial for you. You quickly realize when we were talking about it, like when women deal with us, they realize, yo, I'm not dealing with just a regular man. I'm dealing with somebody who can actually mold me and shape me into the woman that I really want to be. And he will help you do that. You know, we're not just here, oh, yeah, bend over, I'm going to tear your ass up. No, I'm literally cultivating your mind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like brothers be training and shit. You be like, yo, I'm sculpting your body. Like we are literally like engineers. We're architects. We could pick up a woman from the side of the street and mold her to how we want her to be. A woman can't pick up a man and mold him how she wants him to be. This whole concept of cheating, there's no such thing. Cheating, you can only cheat on somebody who's above you. And you go somewhere else. Like, for example, a man can only cheat through the concept of, oh, I went against my God, my Lord. I went to a different God or something. You know, I turned my back on my God. That's it. A woman would cheat if she turned her back on her man, her Lord. But it's not the other way around. There's no such thing. A man can have multiple women. A woman can have multiple men. Some guy put an example. He said, men and women cheating is two different things, right? A man could have 40 women, right? And a woman could say, oh, I also want to have 40 women. He said the difference is, look, if you're on a basketball team, there's a difference between scoring 40 and getting 40 scored on you. I said, yo, that's a very good point. If you scoring 40, you that nigga. But he just dropped 40 on your ass, bro. But if somebody dropping 40 on you, you getting out the game. You might never even play in the game ever again. You are that whack. You ass, bro. You can even stop it. 40 points, bro. That's a lot, bro. And like, damn, go sit down. Come grab some fines. Come sit down. Let's talk. You know, we're gonna console you, bro. 40 points. So it's the same concept. Like a woman getting her back blown out, it's not the same as a man going out there and blowing backs out. It's two different things. Okay? So trying to compare the two, you're gonna put yourself at a deficit automatically. You know what I'm saying? You get pounded out talking about I'm equal to a man. No, not baby. Yeah, you say, oh, baby girl. It doesn't work like that. All right. This is a book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 22. It says, how long will thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? Right? That's the same question we ask you people, man. You Israelites. How long, man? How long we got keep telling you that niggas this, man? You know? It says what? For the Lord Yahweh hath created a new thing in earth. A woman shall compass a man. Okay, so going back to what the brother's point was, what the point the brother was making, a woman compassing a man is a new thing in the earth, man. It's never been that way. And even when you look at different cultures and customs, like Solomon, you brought out, it's only our nation, our people that do that shit. When as men, when we deal with women outside of our so-called quote unquote race, they treat us completely different. They give us that reverence. They see the masculine, they see the energy, they see the aura, they see the manliness, and they treat us completely different.
Well, right, like some respect and some reform. There you go. Honor a man and things.
Okay. Hey, baby, just like the brother said, man. But that's why, as you see in the title, famine and pains is coming. Because it's going to take famines and pains to set them back in their right mind. You know, when they're starving, they ain't going to be talking. You know, when people are hungry, they don't really want to talk. You know, eventually you get past the initial phase of speaking, and now you're at the point where you're like, yo, I don't want to talk right now. I'm pissed. Like they show you in those commercials, you're not you when you're hungry. Yeah. You get mad at everything. So in that time, they're gonna realize, yo, there's a difference between being hungry and knowing there's food, and being hungry and knowing there's not food. If you're hungry and there's no food, 3 hours of hunger feels like 12 because you don't know when your next meal is coming. But like you can go on a 2-day fast, and you know that I'm gonna break it with this when the fast is over. So you know it's all right. I have to keep on going because there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You in the dark tunnel and there ain't no light. And that's the situation that they're about to be in. And they're not going to be talking in that time. Because like you said, Aharon, a lot of people are living in an artificial world right now. Right? This world is not real. You're role playing. You know, you go to the office, you're an accountant. You're role playing as an accountant. You're using role playing money. Yeah, it's a simulation. People don't even use their hands anymore. So when that time comes and you got to get real, you're going to be like, yo, you go up to a man thinking that you're still in a simulation, and all hell done broken loose, and he just wham. You know what I'm saying? Just a slap. She going like in the that video from years ago. The chick, yeah, in the bodega. She talking all that shit. Her energy switched so quick. She went from talking all that shit because he thought her man was gonna do something, but she was in the wrong. And the dude gave her a nice, good slap. Wham! She held that shit and got quiet. You know. Then she looked at her man like, "Oh wow, he's gonna let her do that? I think you in the wrong. I should have given you one too."
They want you to die on the same hill with them. They want you to die on that hill. Like, nah, I'm going down. You gonna come down with me? A lot of niggas die from shit like that. She got a discrepancy with the bodega guy over 25 cents. And then she called her brothers, and the dude come out with a shotgun. Now his body's on the floor. All because this bitch was greedy.
Right.
See? But in that time, you're not gonna be complaining about shit. You're gonna shut the fuck up and you're gonna listen to that man. If you're gonna be delivered, you're not gonna complain about him having more than one woman. You're not gonna complain about none of that shit. You're gonna deal with it. We're gonna be upfront about it. Even now, be upfront and just tell him, listen, I'm gonna be dealing with more than one woman. If you ain't cool with that, you can get to stepping.
Because that's going to be something that the men of the Lord are going to have the ability to do. Because these regular men, they're weak. They're not going to be able to do that. These men can't even guide a woman. Look, telling a woman she's wrong is one of the easiest things for us to do now. But back then, it's hard to do because if you're in the world, you're scared like, oh, what if I say it's time? She might not give you the pussy no more. But we're not communicating with you to get pussy from you. We're communicating to get you right because if you're going to be around us, there's a certain decorum that we're expecting. It's like having an own company. You hiring people and they come in however they want and you accept it. You're not no leader, man. They're gonna ruin your whole business. You gotta have a standard of living. This is how we do things over here. If you come in this way, you're gonna come in a uniform, you're gonna come in respectful, you're gonna come in on time, you're gonna do your job that you're hired to do, and you're gonna do company policy. See, so if Esau could do that, how much more us? Right? But when we're dealing with women, we're guiding you because you're with us. We don't want you to be a liability. If you insist, oh, I want to be with you, all right, cool. Well, that's the case. You're going to have to walk side by side or get behind. You're not going to walk in front of me because you might get me tripping over here now. So guess what? You might be wrong. I'm not going to say, yo, why'd you do it that way? I'll be like, yo, bring it in. Then we're going to go over it. Like, yo, the way you were talking to that person, how you expect them to help? You got an attitude problem. They don't even know where your issue is, right? This is how you go about it. Go about it this way instead. Like we were saying, it's easier to catch bees with honey than with shit, right? Honey's sweet. Everybody wants some honey. But too much of it, what happens? You want to throw it up. The scriptures tell you that. But there's a way to do things. You're dealing with people. There's a way to do things. You're dealing with the elements. There's a way to do things. You're dealing with a man. There's a way to do things. Women get emotional. She might be having a bad day. She just got her period. She's all pissed off. Guess what? She's on the phone with you. You try to help her, but she getting mad at you, right? How do you deal with that? Most men, they're going to be like, they just don't take it because they're scared to tell her, yo, you can't talk to me like that. That's unacceptable. That's not going to work. As a matter of fact, come down to the table and let's talk. What's going on? Why are you, going about it this way? There's a better way to go about it. As a matter of fact, the scripture says this. Most men don't have that knowledge to do that. So women don't respect these niggas, man. You don't have any sense of direction. How the hell are you going to lead me? You see what I'm saying? In order to have a woman in subjection, you have to be on a mission. You have to be on a purpose. You have to be on something that's going to have her underneath you so she can help you push. Scriptures tell you two is better than one. You see, you got women that are single, and what they do, they all crying on the internet, man. Talking about, oh, we need a man. Are the men crying, talking about we need a woman? No, because men are naturally, we're good on our own, right? The Lord said what? He said to Adam, he said, it's not good for man to be alone. He never said it's not good for man to be just by, no, he said it's not good for you to be alone, right? You could be alone, but it's not good for you. So I'm going to give you a help me, make your life a little easier. Right. You know what I'm saying? And we went through that. There was a time where brothers was without no women. And I was like, man, I used to praise the Lord. Before we used to talk about it. Like, Lord, like, I don't need nothing else. I just need a support. Somebody that could just cook a little bit for me. So when I come back from working or training or whatever, I get home mad late. I got to cook, study for my class for the next day, write my papers, do all that. I began to bed like at 3 or 4 in the morning, then wake up at 6 for class. I was mad at extra, man. I said, Lord, if I could just get someone that could just do the shit that I don't have to do when I get home, that's bypassing all this shit I got to do. That's all I need. She don't got to do laundry. She'll just cook, and that's it. Yo, I kept praying. The Lord gave me more than what I asked for. And all because of what I was asking for. I wasn't asking for pussy. But I was asking for more than that. How does the Lord help me, aid me, so I can even be better for him in this truth? You see, Lord, if I had that time, I could be studying. Lord, if I had that time, I could be doing this. I could be serving you. I could be doing more lessons. I could be talking about these different things. That's why I need to help me. Not for you to come in and distract me and knock me off my mission. Fuck out of here, man. It's not gonna work. I'd rather be alone then. I'd rather just deal with the hell by myself then. You see? But most men in the world are not brought up that way. They don't have men in their lives to teach them how to be a man. The truth teaches you that. The truth, this truth right here, has made us who we are today. We always talk about it. All glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. Because we've seen the difference of how we used to deal with people compared to now how we deal with people is completely different. We don't gotta try no more. We just go about our day and things fall in line perfectly, man. You know?
Hey, I wanted to bring up a point that was beautiful on accountability. So, you know, if people get stripped out, like when you try to hold these women accountable, they never take accountability. But when you really look at it, accountability is based off of a leader. Leaders are held accountable, and women are not meant to be leaders. So if you try to hold them accountable, they're always denying. And if you look at the profession, like women hate math. Like when you deal with like STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, women don't really fuck with math. Now, I mean, they'll do it if their career based off of it, but they're stressed out like, man, I'm not for that calculus, and they'd be fucked up about it. You know what I mean? But uh, math deals with calculation, science, technology, engineering, and math. And math deals come from the Hebrew word amah, which means truth, which goes into what accountability. Because when you deal with accountability, holding somebody accountable, they have to deal with what self-reflection. You know what I mean? That's why the scriptures say what examine ourselves. Well, and you know the scriptures is primarily directed towards men, whether that being in the truth. So when you examine yourself, you take an incident and incidents and your behavior towards these incidents, and you linking it up and you making the accounting of what it is. The Lord told his servants in the scriptures to be what stewards, because the scriptures say the earth is mine and all that there is therein. So actually, we don't own nothing. It says, well, our body is bought with a price, and we die, and that shit passes on. So all we here, the only thing we here to do is to steward over what the Lord gives us, is to manage it. Even going back to the garden, he made Adam what? A manager. You know what I mean? Even before he gave him, he gave him resources to manage it. Because we supposed to be stewards over it. Because when you deal with a kingdom and rulership, everything belongs to the king. You just got a position to maintain what he gave you. But everything belongs to the king, which is who? Yahweh Shah, because he inherited everything, especially once he went up on that cross. But the point I'm making is that you're like, bitch, take accountability. You know what I mean? They get mad like, no, she's not going to take accountability. Because to be accountable is a trait of a leader. You got to take accountability and hold her to your leadership. Now, the question is why you made a woman, you're a woman that don't respect you. Because if a woman respect you and you told her we doing this, she's going to go off of the things you held accountable. But you can't hold her and be like, yo, take accountability. Because followers not going to take accountability. They're going to blame everything on what? The leaders. And that's when you go back to weak men. When you got men that's not assertive, when you got men that don't believe in themselves, when you don't have a man that don't know where he's going, he can't lead a woman. And women will shit test you. Because back in the day, with them being a weaker vessel, if a woman got with a weak man outside of welfare and all that shit, if a woman got with a weak man, she would die. Her kids would starve. There's no welfare system and shit like that. So it was programmed into, even to this day, they would shit test you. You would say something to them, and they'd double back on you to see if you stand on what you said. And if you break your words, or if you be like, didn't I tell you, like, we're not going out tonight? What you getting dressed for? Or if you be like, oh, that dress look nice. You know what? We're going to go out anyway. She knows you don't stand on your word and you could be broken. So for, like with Delilah, it says she presses them daily to break them because she saw weakness within them. And she know, like a glass, right? If you tap on the glass, they won't break. But if you keep tapping on it with the same force over the period of time, and eventually crack and break. So once you tell a woman something and she go against what you said and trying to make you do something else, she believes she thinks she can break you. And if you believe you think you can break me, you see weakness in you. So I told Shalimar once, I was like, listen, people try to change their woman. That's like trying to
fix your beard by combing the mirror. Because women are reflections. So a lot of times they acting like that because they see a weakness in you. I saw a straight up hoe get with a brother and shit on him. But the last nigga she was with, she respected him, a hood nigga. Because she saw one thing about street and hood niggas, they got survival tactics about it. Like he'd be like, yo, get me some Wendy's. And she'd come back with McDonald's. He'd be like, bitch, I thought I said Wendy's. Oh, they ain't had what you wanted. Like the McDonald's was far away, so I just bought you Wendy's. No, you drive to the go, take that shit back and go to McDonald's and get me the fuck what I said. And that's what that's assertiveness, and they cleave to that. But weak men, they can't lead, and they try to hold the woman like accountable. But women not going to be held accountable. Accountability is a trait of a leader,
That's only for men.
and that's a trait of men. And but you hear these red pill dudes saying on the internet, "These women never held accountability. They're not supposed to." You're the one that's supposed to be accountable. And if they're not willing to go off of your lead, how does she become your woman? Because titles are earned. If you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, you deal with NBA or whatever, those are all titles. But titles are what? Earned. You have to do something to earn it. But what weak niggas do, they make bitches, they girls who didn't earn it. And they give them titles that they didn't earn, so they don't value the title. Because I never went through nothing to earn it. If you ahead of a camp, if you whatever in life you are that has a title, you had to go through some hardships to actually earn it. What the Lord say about His woman, which is the men of Israel. If you're not willing to sacrifice your life, your mother, father, and your own life for me, you can't be my disciple. Meaning you can't be my bitch. And that's how we supposed to be. Like, yo, if you don't believe in me, I'll watch the words and shit on you. He was telling him, like, listen, the most thing a woman can do for me, he could make mention 1,000 things. He said, is believe in me. Because that's faith. And that's all the Lord asked his woman to do. Like, yo, if you believe in me, we good. All that other shit is based off of that. Because faith is the principal thing. Bitch, if you don't believe in me, I told you something, and you don't believe what I told you, and I gotta double back on it and tell you again, that you ain't my girl then. And when you make them your girl after they don't believe in you, they already know I got this nigga. I got this nigga, and I'm gonna run amok on him. I'm gonna run this nigga into the ground. I already see the weakness because they the weaker vessels. So they look for weak traits because it's based off of their survival. So it's up for the man to stand his ground. If a bitch ain't willing to pay for your program, tell her to kick rock. I don't give a fuck what she look like. Tell her to kick rock. And you still got to test it because sometimes they will play the role and try to act like what you want them to act like. And then once they get the baby or the ring, they flip on you. So you got to, what the Lord make his woman do, he put them through tests. He make them give sacrifices. He make them do all of that. I always say, if you want to know how a man should interact with a woman, read the Bible and how the Lord interacted with Israel. And that's the perfect relationship, and that's the perfect guidelines to have. But that brothers down to be beautiful.
I wanted to say, right now is if you're dealing with a woman that's understandable, you can do your best, but I don't recommend it because women are distractions. They you've got to put too much work into them, time and money. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much America is considered the female. And you see the distraction that America causes people when they get here, they get Americanized. All right. Babylon is considered the virgin daughter. America is considered the virgin daughter of Babylon, and that's a female within itself. And it's a big distraction to be here in America. You get so many things that take your mind off the path, which is Yahweh watching Yahweh shot. All right. There's too many distractions here. You got fun and games, parties, everything that you could think of is here. They even got the statue, which is a female, which is the Statue of Liberty. All right. Right. And she have you dealing with all type. You got the liberty to do everything. They say you got the liberty to marry your computer. All right. And I say women are distractions because to try to cultivate the woman. First of all, you're dealing with a person that can't get past the maturity level of a 14-year-old. They all got this adolescent kind of mind state. The jealous, you know, the how you say insecure, you know, all these aspects that you gotta cultivate in a woman to try to get them to be how you want them to be, you know, in a subservient kind of way. It's a lot to go through, man. You got too much on working on yourself right now to try to deal with getting a woman of today, a Megan Thee Stallion that's been ran through, you know? It's like throwing a hot dog through a hallway. 9 times out of 10, these girls started having sex at the age 12, 14, 13, 14. You really just gonna be working yourself up to deal with them. Am I adequate enough for this woman? Right.
Like you meet a chick and you be like, yo, like when you meet a woman that's like pure, that hasn't had many experiences, she's not gonna question you or what you've been. She might ask out of curiosity because she care about you. Like where you going, she's worried about you. She wonder why you coming back. But a lot of times these women don't ask out of carefulness, they ask out of insecurity. So like, where you going? Who you with? This and that, and you be like, that's not natural. The reason they acting like that because some other niggas she was with broke her heart and shitting on her. So now she's just a damaged vessel, and you gotta deal with that. You know what I mean? So now she look like every other nigga after that is a reflection of the nigga who broke her heart.
What time and work?
Yeah, so then you gotta deal with what the last nigga did. You know how you get rid of a bitch fast? This is a little quick strategy. But listen, I don't make no woman my girl unless I have a conversation with their ex-boyfriend. That bitch is skedaddle. Because guess what? That ex nigga will put you up on. Dang! That, if he's not a hothead, you can hit him up. Hey, yo, I'm going to bring you to the bar. We can have some drinks. I want to talk to you about Tasha a little bit. And it's sad you got to do that, but we in Babylon. It's an adulterous generation. But if you could talk to a chick ex-boyfriend, especially if he's been with her like 2 or 3 years, now take things with a grain of salt because if he a jealous type and you know what I mean, he might add things. But I'm telling you, that's the best information you can get. He gonna give a whole inside scoop of how she act and different insecurities that you probably would have found out way later that you could have got a jump on. But once you tell a chick that, she gonna be like, yo, nah, you ain't talking to my ex dude because he gonna put you up on game. And even if 40% or 30% of it's true, that's enough truth to take you a long way.
Because they go based on deception. Right? Women thrive on deception, just like Esau. Right? Their whole thing is I need to deceive you to gain some type of upper hand.
Access.
Yeah. That's society now. Leverage, exactly. You know, they'll do the makeup, they'll wear the clothing, they'll pose a certain way, but that's not really who they look like in real life. I was telling one of these chicks the other day. I was telling her, I was like, yo, listen, man, if the world or Instagram, even social media, was to have a dislike button, all these women being narcissistic, it'll cut off. Because how many men, a chick passing by, how many men are actually gonna say something nice about her? Like, oh, you look nice, or you look good, or yo, I like that, right? But they could just double tap on your picture and make you think he actually likes that. You get one chick, regular, average, below average chick.
Play the ego.
Yeah. And it gets to their mind to think that they're some type of celebrity. Bitches be traveling the world thinking that they're some celebrity, bro. And they'll step up to a real man in real life and look down on them. I saw a video. It was these new streamers, all this streaming shit that they be doing. And Adrian Broner was on there. And some shorty, I don't know if you see that video.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And she was like, nah, I'd rather kiss the chat. Yeah, whatever. And he was pissed. He started throwing a tantrum like, I'm him with a big ass belly talking shit. And I'm like, if I was to meet Adrian Broner, I'll look at him as another man, but he's accomplished in the boxing world way different than I'll ever even look at. Like, you're an accomplished man. Why are you subjecting yourself to this whore right here who's like treating you like shit, like you ain't shit, to the point where you acting out of character? And I was like, yo, man, this average chick that nobody knows, but because of what she looks like, which is all fake, they got to go under the knife. They got to do all these different things. And we are just natural men. We don't got to go under the knife. We don't got to put on makeup. We're just who we are. When we wake up, we brush our teeth, take a shower, we step out the house, go to our business. That's who we are. These women do a whole bunch of shit to deceive the world so they can get, like you said, leverage.
Right? Oh, since you said that, really the Lord took us back to the garden by bringing us here. Except we in the version where the serpent has deceived the woman, and now we've seen what that actually looks like. Because he got into her head, Esau got into her head. Right? That's how she got into his head. And when you look at the whole thing on Instagram, it's like what they did with the C-19. Yep. They'll say, "Oh, there's this many cases today, this many cases today, this many cases today." But what they won't say is this many cases out of all of this. Because if you say like 100,000, that sounds like a lot. But 100,000 out of 5 million doesn't really sound like that much. So they won't mention the 5 million. They'll just say 100,000. That's why you only see a like button. Oh, she got this many likes. But out of how much? Right. And when you said, I was gonna say, when you said that, something else I was thinking about is the Lord put us here, and the women are the most rebellious they've ever been. Right. But at the same time, that makes us the strongest we've ever been. Right. Wow. Because in the ancient world, men didn't have to deal with this. Right. They didn't need to think about how, like, female nature on the level that we got to think about it now. So we really have an opportunity to become the prime time men because everything is wrong. Right. Right. So if you can get it right in Babylon, you can get it right anywhere. If you can do it in Babylonian shit, you can get it anywhere. And it's like, it's so much easier. If you conquer a Babylonian chick's mind, any country, anywhere you go to, they're all easy work. Right. Because you're like, yo, I'm playing with literal fire over here, and I'm not getting burned. And now I'm coming to a pool of water. Of course, I'm going to jump in there and be all right. Untouched. Because that fire wasn't there to burn you, it was there to refine you. Like, the Lord literally put us in the heat of the battle to make us the best. Most people be to the heat of the battle, they'll be out of it. Like or some Uriah shit. You'll be out of it. But the Lord is like, no, I'm putting you in the heat of the battle to show the world what I can do when nobody can see that. Like, they see you as, oh, these niggas, these bums, look at them on the side of the street. But when they get close enough, they study, they be like, yo, you're so different. Yo, how is it that you're like this? Wait, hold on. They get confused by that because they don't understand it. It's not normal to them. The way we live our lives is not normal. It's not conventional because we are. There was a phrase I was reading and it came up. It says, practicing ancient customs in a modern world is an anomaly. There's an ending to it. It was mad dope. I was like, damn, I wish I could remember that. But it was like living in an ancient mindset in a modern society and actually being able to do it is almost like Mission Impossible. Like you said, with all the elements. Yeah, like you gotta be on a different level because you're not only dealing with scrutiny from people who have normalized wickedness. For example, a man can have multiple women. You tell us the average woman, she's not trying to hear that. But in her mind, it's okay that she could have niggas. She could have side niggas. Like, yeah, like she can have a roster.
That's how you it's like, yo, right. You won't let me have another bitch outside of you. But at the same time, if I promoted to do something, you down with it. So it's just like, that's how you know when you think about it, it's like, yo, that shit's time. It goes deeper than you just have. It goes back to you worshiping them as a God. Because like when you put them above the Most High, you put them on the godly level. But to add to the point, when you said one thing about Babylon, you could conquer the woman, but it's a flip side to the coin. Because if you become too westernized, dealing with women here, you'll meet a foreign woman that's actually feminine and good, and you'll fuck that woman up because you'll start questioning like, what you whining? Out of here. You will take her sincerity as being insincere. And you will start I actually dealt with that to a degree. And I was like, damn, I gotta check myself because I'm used to dealing with like bugged out, hood rats, wild bitches. And when I get a halfway decent woman and she's really sincere, but when I'm used to dealing with fuck me up so much, I'm taking it out on her, and that's taking a toll on our relationship. So, and that's why, like, we just got to be refined and purified.
Yeah, it's a fine line you got to trudge. But like, with purified, it's interesting because why did the Lord put us in Babylon? Why did He make Babylon like this? Like, this is the worst humanity has ever been. But at the same time, he's also showing us what we're made of. Because it's like if you pick up gold covered in dirt and you pick up a rock and you put both of them in the fire, even the gold itself might not know that it's gold until it goes in there and comes out more refined.
Right.
And when you come into the truth, you don't really know what you're made of until a couple, you spend some time in the truth and you really start to grow into your spirit. Yeah, that's the fine wine.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, yo, and then you start to gain that self-esteem, like, yo, we're the prophets of the Lord, like we're meant, because the way that when you read the scriptures, you look at how the men of old were, like you were saying, it's an ancient mindset in a modern world, and it doesn't mesh. It's an anomaly. But if you're able to do it, you become more of a superior man because you're in the heat of the battle, but you're conquering that. You have to constantly think. Like in this world, you have to think. The world today, in a society that they don't teach you to think, if you're a thinker, you're dangerous because you question, you think before you act. Hold on, you want to do this, but why? Or you did this and it didn't work, but what did you do? Tell me exactly what you did. And you'll see 9 times out of 10, you've done something wrong. Like yesterday, when I told you to type in the website, you typed it in. I said exactly what you typed in. We typed in the wrong thing. And you said, oh, it's not coming up.
And it was a small little, just
Tiny little, it's a dash. You put an underscore.
Yep.
And I said, no, if you type in the website correctly, it will show up.
Yep.
So let me see what you did.
Yep.
But people don't do that.
You're like, oh, this one you got wrong.
There you go. And then you fix it. Yep. People don't go back and look at, like the Zaquan was saying, look, accountability, right? Looking at those different events and re-examining them. That's how you find your mistakes and you fix them for next time. But Esau tells you, no, close the book, throw it away. It's not going to work. Don't even look at it again. Don't troubleshoot it. Call it a day. And they make money off you. You know how many things you can fix on your own? DIY, do it yourself.
Yeah.
And then you call somebody will make a business off of your ignorance on how to fix something. All you gotta do is open the damn hood. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like you probably move this shit here, just move it back that way, and you got the shit fixed. But I gotta get the mechanic. The mechanic, he gonna look at you like, this nigga don't know money. That's $200 right there. Oh, you see this right here? You see that here? You see that shit? I do that my job. Yo, you get in there, and you ask them, so what's the problem that you're having? Like, oh, my TV just went out, and I've been trying so hard, I just can't get it. It keeps saying no signal. And I'm like, oh, let me check and see. You go in there, it's on the wrong input. That simple shit like that. I'm like, so I purposely just make it seem like I'm doing some extra shit. So I'm not pulling a wire, readjusting it, doing all this extra shit just so they see like I'm doing mad extra shit that they couldn't have done. So then after I'm done, they'll be like, so what was the problem? I'm like, oh, well, of course, you got the thing on the wrong input. That's the first thing. But, of course, you got this going on here. So I tighten this up for you. I clean this up. I put this new fitting here. I didn't do none of that shit.
But it's
I just ran my
long
meter.
enough that shit turn into black.
Exactly. But it's done, right? It's done, exactly. So I'm good now, right? I'm like, you're all set. You're all good to go. So it's never going to happen again? Nope. And then you show them, in case it happens again, this is how you solve it. Boom. The job is done. And I'm like, oh, shit, easy money. Boom. In your pocket, you out of there. And they give you a tip on top of that. Just for easy shit. And then there'll be certain jobs you go in there and it's like, it's supposed to be easy, but it becomes mission impossible. Now you start asking them, Lord, why you send me on this job? You know what I'm saying? But it's a balance. But going back to your point, you have solutions, but if you're not looking for those solutions the right way, you're going to end up going around the whole world for something so simple. That's what Esau tells you. Yes. He'll tell you, look, like you could be trying to go across the street that way. You can literally just cross the street. He'll make the sidewalk. No, you got to go that way, and then that way, and then back down that way. That's how you get over there. Because at every point he gets to make money off. That's a toll. He got a toll right there. Got a toll right there. Got a toll right there too. I got a precept though.
It was a wise saying like this. It said, "Oh, Jake shit free." It was like, Jake created the light bulb. Esau created the light bill. You know, Jake created the traffic signal. Esau created tickets. You know what I mean? So it's just like whatever, because Jacob is the former of all things. So as Jake create these inventions, Esau found a way of oppression to tax it.
I mean, they're doing it on a whole other level now with all these mega corporations. They're saying that they want to put a value on natural resources now. It's called tokenization. Right. So basically, like the air that we breathe, like there's a startup company right now as we speak that is trying to control the sunlight. So if you want sunlight,
solar panels and shit.
Deeper than that. Deeper than that. They said they're sending satellites up there, and they're gonna block out the sun. And then if you want some sunlight in your house, you just gotta get a subscription. and they're gonna turn the satellite,
So
and it'll reflect the sun onto your house for a certain amount per hour or whatever amount that you're gonna be. So it's a subscription based.
for the sun.
Yes.
Sunlight.
So they'll tokenize even everything, the air, the water, everything. So if you want natural resources, it's so expensive because now they want to make it so scarce. So if you want some resources, you're gonna have to go through Esau's mechanisms, Esau's ways.
And they said that they could point the sunlight on your crib at night.
At night,
Motherfuckers feel like it's special. That's some wickedness. Like, nigga, go to sleep. There's a reason the light is off, because you need certain chemicals in your brain to flow so that you can sleep normally. No, but that's why people ain't sleeping right. 'Cause they got the screen time, television time. That's why people's brain chemistry is all fucked up, and your circadian rhythm is off. You can't even sleep right, and that's essential to health. Getting good enough sleep.
But when you're sick, they make money.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
they don't, if you healthy, they're gonna throw you in the NBA or the NFL to make money. If you sick, they're gonna take you to the hospital and make money.
They created sick. That's what the AMA was. AMA was created to do that, to make sick people. They'll diagnose your symptoms. They don't treat illnesses. They diagnose symptoms. For example, I give an example about yawning. Right? If you yawn, that's a natural. Your body's telling you, yo, you're tired. Go get some rest. Esau says, don't do that. Go get you a 5-hour energy drink. That way you can continue doing what you're supposed to do. But your body says, yo, I'm tired. I need some rest. I'm yawning because I'm tired. No, you shouldn't be resting because that'll solve the problem. That's an easy solution, but I'm not going to make money off of that. So I'll tell you, no. Actually, yawning is actually a problem. To avoid that problem so you can keep on working, come take this 5-hour energy.
And when you break down,
You go get
then
another.
the bill is higher in the hospital.
I just died from the energy drink. Three of them. They took 3 of them, 16-year-old girl, and if you're 16-year-old, your heart should be more strong enough to deal with 3 drinks. She couldn't even drink 3 of them, and she died.
Because you ain't supposed to be
Red
drinking that
Bull.
first. Yeah, I got this precept here. This is First Ezra chapter 4. Oh yeah. First Ezra chapter 4, verse 13. It says here now, and this is when you had the wise men, Zerubbabel being one of them, and they had the contest for what was the wisest saying. So he says here, the third who had spoken of women and of the truth, this was Zerubbabel, began to speak. O ye men, it is not the great king, nor the multitude of men, neither is it wine that excelleth. Who is it then that ruleth them, or hath the lordship over them? Are they not women? Women have borne the king, which is to carry, and all the people that bear rule by sea and land. And this is like it's actually carrying the rule. Even of them, and they nourished them up that planted the vineyards from whence the wine cometh. He started off saying, well, if a woman didn't give birth to the man, the farmer, you wouldn't have any vineyards in the first place to get your wine, right? And if a woman never birthed a king, then you wouldn't have a king to be the strongest in the first place. It says here, these also make garments for men. These bring glory unto men, and without women cannot men be. Now Zerubbabel knew, this is how he started off his intro, but he already knew where he was going to go with it, right? Yeah, he was a plant.
Set them up.
It says, yea, and if men have gathered together gold and silver, or any other goodly thing, do they not love a woman which is comely in favor and beauty? And letting all those things go, do they not gape? And even with open mouth, fix their eyes fast on her. That's when you see some fine shit. And then the jaw drop. Yeah. And have something like that, yep. And have not all men more desire unto her than unto silver or gold or any goodly thing whatsoever? Look, if you see a fine ass shorty, and you say, look, I'm gonna give you this fine shit right here, I'm gonna give you some silver and gold. Most of you are gonna look at the fine shit and they're not gonna think with this head, they're gonna think with the other head. And after they've made the decision, they're gonna be like, shit, maybe I should have taken the gold after all. You know what I'm saying? I both got clarity. He's gonna say, no, they should have taken the gold. But this is an actual biological trigger. Right. You see some fine shit, blood is gonna flow. Right. And your brain is gonna start thinking, your heart is gonna start beating. And Zerubbabel understood that. And Esau understands that. And Esau knows, if you look in history, some of the most powerful women were the submissive women. Right? Women that ruled kings weren't women that ruled kings with an iron fist. Right? They ruled them with a soft touch and sweet words. That's how they ruled kingdoms. Because they got this nigga under their thumb, like Cersei from Game of Thrones. All she got to do is act submissive. What did Delilah do to get Samson? Did she grab him? Listen, nigga, you gonna tell me that power will choke your ass? She didn't do that. She used her women's tendencies because what is a man's kryptonite when it comes to a woman? He's helpless, her femininity. Because a man will come down to help a woman because he's like, damn, what's wrong? He lets his guard down. A woman is coming at you, you're gonna get all defensive. Like, what the fuck? Like, back up. So a smart woman knows how to get to a man through his heart by talking to him.
Lord's woman, with the guts. Don't ask me for shit. Don't be demanding. Don't be prideful. Don't be egotistical. And I do everything. You ain't got to fight. You ain't got to argue. You know what I mean? Just do what I told you to do, and I'll give you everything. And that's like, and like I always say, like the ultimate example on how to deal with a woman. How about I was trying to deal with his woman, which is ultimately the men of Israel. And that's the ultimate example.
That's why and Julius Caesar. He won Julius Caesar over with her beauty, seduction. And ultimately, Julius Caesar knew that to gain the power from Egypt, he got to go through her.
And look at Marilyn Monroe. She was running shit back in the 60s. How these got, I think JFK was all enamored with that shit.
Yeah.
That's how they do things. But again, that soft touch of femininity is gone. Now women are golden with masculine energy. And it's like, that's very unattractive. If you think you're going to run some shit, act like a nigga, you're going to get knocked the fuck out, man. All right? You got dudes nowadays, they killing women.
About to say that. They killing.
They're killing women.
Beating them up.
Yo,
Yeah,
they're not even like back
them
up. The video I'll tell you about where the shorty just some small little parking shit. He was in the car. He got out, shot her, boom, and then drove the car over her ass. Man. Like 2 minutes, you was running your mouth, going crazy. The next minute, you in the spirit world, and we run your shit over your dead body. And what did the niggas around do? Like, oh shit, nobody came. You came out now because they saw how she was acting, man. First of all, you big, black, and you ugly, and you acting like that, man, loud. You gonna get your shit rocked, and you gonna be in the spirit world. You're not even gonna get it. Yo, you out of here. Just be quiet, and then you think about your life maybe next week. No, you in the spirit world. Then you ain't coming back to think about shit. Yeah, you out of there.
I was going to add with another few examples. Jael, like Sisera came in the tent, and then she gave him the milk. And that was that smooth feminine touch, and kind of lull him to sleep. And then before you know it, he getting a peg in the side of his head. Judith, she came on the battlefield, and all the men stopped. But she did that to supplant, to get in good with the king. And then when the time came, chop his head off. And then brought it back to Israel so they could be a great victory. And then the men, that was really who finished the job. But the Lord used it for that purpose, just to show you that they have a certain power when it comes to that. A woman's power really does come from her femininity and her submission. Just like us as Israel, us as the hopeful elect, our power comes from our submission to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua.
Yeah, look at how Esther even dealt with Xerxes.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, we had a whole Edomite devil trying to destroy us as a nation. And what did she do? She said, nah, we're going to have to do this a different way. Listen, ladies, y'all all got to fast. We all going to fast and pray to the Lord, but I'm going to have to go the soft way. I can't come in on something like, listen, I'm your favorite woman and this and that. This nigga Haman is trying to get us out of here. You got to do something and fight for me. No. She was like, I have to go through my God first, but I got to come in very soft, very feminine, very weak to the king. Yo, in the scripture says that before you come into the presence of the king, you got to come in, bow your head, and then get the permission for the king to say you can come on in. She did that, but it was more like, yo, no, you don't got to do all that. Just come on in. That was the reverence that Xerxes had for Esther. Painted. Because she was nervous. Exactly. She was like, oh, shit.
And she had been fasting.
There you go. You see, so that soft touch, I'm telling you, yo, trust and believe. All these strong, independent women, you are always going to take the L. Most men will not pick you over a feminine woman. Trust and believe that. You think
right. And it's usually the so-called black chicks that like that.
Yeah. It's the wise saying of your attitude will determine your altitude. And that even applies to men. Because a lot of times, like, I think it says, did you grab that for me? Ecclesiastes, if the spirit of the king rise against you. Yeah. So, like, your attitude towards something, like, you could get off way lighter. Even if you wear order, like super hot water. But if you show a good attitude towards it, you can excel way higher from that situation than if you wasn't like fuck up or pick up a thing. And that's what it's saying. Go, your attitude, if the spirit of the king rise up, I think it's 4:9 or something like that. With great offenses, yield because great offenses still pacify great judgment. So I'm butchering it, but that's a heavy scripture because, like, and that could take us a long way, period. Not just women, but men too. But like, because it's just like, yo, you know what? I was going to do this, but based upon your attitude, you just fucked up. Because attitude, that shit means like that shit could turn. You can even be right, but that shit could turn the whole situation like left. It's based off of like your snobbish ways about dealing with it. You got it?
I think it's a different one, but I'll bring this out while I look for the other one. It's Proverbs 16 and 14. It says, "The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but
It's
a
in
wise man,
Ecclesiastes.
will
It's
pacify it." I
right,
remember
yeah,
that
it
one.
says, if the spirit of the king rise of or a ruler rise up against you,
Yeah.
yield, because it pacifies great offenses. It's definitely in the strap, not the rock, but in the Ecclesiastes. I think it's like four. Talking about
Yeah. Ecclesiastes 10 and 4. Yep.
10 and 4. What I say, 4 and 9?
Yeah.
I was for a lot.
Nah, you're good. You're good. Yeah, Ecclesiastes 10 and 4. It says, "If the spirit of the ruler rise up against thee."
Right, because sometimes a brother might pick up on you or an elder or somebody got rank or even on the job because this is universal.
Mhm.
Right, and you like, yo, why you fucking with me for? You feel justified for that person fucking with you, but the Lord probably had him doing that for something else you did. But you just looking at it on a surface level. So it said, if the spirit of the ruler rise up against you, you know,
Says here, "Leave not thy place for yielding."
meaning stay stoic.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like hear what he got to say. And one great thing when you debating or arguing with somebody about something you did is to repeat back what they said. Because most people listen to respond, not actually listen to understand. But when you be like, say you're speaking for 2 minutes, and you be like, oh, so okay, when I did this, so just so we got clarity, so if you spit back exactly what he said to you, and then go on what you needed to say, he actually knows you're listening to him. You know what I mean? Because most people think like, oh, you got like, and people do be like, all right, shut up, so I can say what I need to say, right? But when you be like, oh, so blah blah blah, blah blah blah, and you felt blah blah blah, and I did blah blah blah, and blah blah blah, and blah blah blah. That's why you did blah blah blah. Okay, based upon that, blah blah blah. And he'd be like, oh, this nigga just I stuck for like 10 minutes and he took all my major talking points and merged them, spit it back at me, got clarity, and then said what he needed to say. And that's when you know, like that's a listening tactic to let you know I'm not here to not I'm here to get understanding, not to like think because you got opposition to think what you're saying is bullshit. Right. I'm gonna listen to everything you're saying, I'm gonna spit it back at you, get clarity. Once you confirm it, then I'm gonna respond and say my take. And then you could do the same thing. And that gives people confirmation and comfort that you're actually listening for understanding, not just for opposition. Because once somebody feels as though you're listening for opposition, they're going to be like, I know this motherfucker ain't going to hear me out. Like, you know what I mean? And they say what they got to say, and they become more argumentative, and you don't get nowhere with it.
In fact, that's actually how you catch a lot of misunderstanding. Because while repeating that, you might actually have misunderstood what they meant by what they said. Right. Or they may have recounted an incident and you're recounting it and you're like, wait, time out. You think I said this? No, that's not what I meant when I said this. Yeah. And before you even got to continue the conversation, you squash it off because they misunderstood what you said.
Right.
You know?
Because a lot of shit be based off of a misunderstanding. Yep. You know? Yep. Makes the other person feel heard. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And a lot of times in their mind, they already think like, this motherfucker ain't out there. Hear what I got. He gonna hear it because I'm saying it, but he's not actually listening to me. He's just holding for a time period to say what he got to say just to be an opposition to protect himself. But when you're able to repeat their talking points, like not everything they said, but they talking points, and spit it back to them and ask them to get clarity before you say something, that is wonderful. It even helps with like women in like relationships. Like you gotta calm down. Calm down. Calm down. First you gotta, they women. So you gotta calm their emotions down. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Easy. So okay, blah 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 blah. And you be like, oh, okay. And the Lord, I think it's the scripture. Don't forget to communicate with one another because communication is very powerful. It's key, And a lot of shit don't have to go certain routes if the communication kind of stop.
Ecclesiastes 10:4 again, it says, if the spirit of the ruler rise up against thee, leave not thy place.
You need to stay stoic. Don't get emotional. Don't cut them off. Let them say his speech. And actually listen to us and hear them out.
It says, leave not thy place, for yielding pacifieth great offenses.
Like your attitude. Like when you yield and give them this, even though something wasn't true, you still let them say his speech. And you spit it back at them and be like, but this part I had a problem with. I understood the rest, but this part, blah, 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 and pacify great offenses. So even if he was in violation of offending you, by you moving and acting like that, he probably be like, yo, you know what? And that's why the scriptures is bad as they are.
Hey, we've been through situations where somebody came at you funny, and your natural instinct is to be defensive. Like, who the fuck you talking to? I knew that shit. Like, why you coming at me like that? But
especially when you're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. When they wrongly accusing you and you know you ain't do that shit, but they saying it like you the problem. Like, yo. And then guess what? You take the approach, like the Zakwan said, the approach of just being calm and just trying to understand where they're coming from. Next thing you know, they realize they're in the wrong. They're apologizing to you. Sometimes they feel bad because, like, damn, I didn't even have to talk to this guy. Like, he didn't even respond to me that way.
Right.
Like, I've had customers sound mad crazy because they had an issue. First of all, I'm here to help you solve that problem. I'm not the one who caused that problem. So then they come in with the the system isn't working. You have to fix it. Like, all right, well, what's the problem that you have? Like, oh, well, I'm sorry. Let me start off with where the equipment is. Let's test the signal first, and then we're gonna go down here and then go from there. And if there's any issues, you can fix it right then and there. After everything was done, we're having a regular conversation. He noticed, like, yo, me coming at him didn't even affect him. It didn't change my mood. It didn't change the way I was talking. I was just being professional and regular. Everything he's doing and saying, I'm joking, I'm laughing, I'm listening to my music, I'm doing my own thing. So when everything was done, he's like, yo, man, hey, thank you so much. You got it fixed? I said, yeah. He's like, yo, that was that fast. Like, yo, I'm sorry, man. Hey, you know what? I'm having a bad day. Like, wife, the kids, there's a lot going on. These two are moving right now. So it's a lot of stress. So I apologize for even the way I spoke to him, man. Like, sorry about that. And he gave me a $50 tip. Just like that. I wasn't expecting that. But boom, just based on how I was dealing, and of course I got the job done, but how I went about it, most technicians will come in with something like, yo, man, I don't got to deal with this shit. Call somebody else. I'm out. They'll call the supervisor and say, you deal with the problem. Fuck you, I'm out.
Right.
But I was on something like, hey, you know what? You came at me funny, but I'm not here to listen to what you got to say. I'm here to hear what the problem is and fix it. The other extra shit, it could stay with you. It ain't coming back with me because at the end of the day, my job is in there. In less than an hour, I'm done. I'm gone. The problem is over. I'm not going back home thinking about, man, that nigga talked to me crazy, man. Next time I see him, it's never going to happen again. So
people think they can and these are ways like you can have money to rise above a situation. Money answers all things. You can use wisdom to rise above a certain situation. You can use your connections of people. It's multiple things that you can use to rise above the situation and get out of it and come out outside. But the major thing people can do is very simple and possible. It's your attitude. Your attitude has rise above a lot of things, man. Like that you don't even have to spend other accesses, resources on the rise above. And that's why I said your attitude will determine your altitude. But people shit their attitude, fuck them up in a lot of shit.
Appreciate it. This is Proverbs chapter 25, verse 15. By long forbearing is a prince persuaded, and a soft tongue breaketh the bone. And long forbearing basically goes into Proverbs 25 and 15. And in the NLT, it says, patience can persuade a prince, and soft speech can break bones. Now, if you've ever seen like somebody go get a certain like surgery and they gotta actually break the bone, they use some like heavy duty equipment to actually cut through the bone. Because bone is a very, very, very hard substance. So when it says soft tongue breaking the bones, it doesn't mean that I can talk to you and your bones are broken, but it's to highlight how powerful words are. You know, you can literally disarm somebody with just your words. You ever notice you watch certain TV shows and some of the most dangerous villains are thinking villains? Somebody like Bizarro, yeah, like a Joker. Exactly. Joker have no powers. How the hell he caused Batman so much trouble, man? Because he's thinking. Lex Luthor, he's thinking. The Riddler. How the hell does Lex Luthor freaking go toe to toe with Superman? Superman, Kal-El, all powerful, because he found out what his weakness is. And not only that, because he found out how can I expose your vulnerability. I know you're gonna want to save this person, so I'm gonna plan it in there. And the second you go to try to save this, I saw a clip where it was a little trailer, and what Lex Luthor ended up doing was he beat up Wonder Woman because Superman had a thing with Wonder Woman, and then he put kryptonite in her mouth and then closed it up. So when Superman flew over there real quick to try and help her, he started getting weak. She opened her mouth, found out kryptonite's in there. Then Lex Luthor pulled up, like, what's up, nigga? And then he started getting up in there. So he's like, he thought about all this because Superman was at the sun charging up. He got super hearing. So Lex Luthor, he was like crushing her head. And when she screamed, he called him. That was the bait. So that's the most powerful thing. They can kill it. Do exactly. So he even got Superman. So what it says here, for long forbearing a prince is persuaded, that's how you keep your head, especially in the ancient world. In the ancient world, in the king's court, you could very easily lose your head. You laugh at the wrong time, that's your head, bro. So a lot of those people in the court had to be smart. They had to know, how do I pacify the wrath of the king? But at the same time, I can't be the king's favorite because everybody else gonna hate me. And they're gonna make me sound bad, and they're gonna try to get the king to kill me. Look what happened to Daniel. Yeah, exactly. So they had to always, it was like a game of life and death, but you always had to keep your cool, especially when you in some deep shit. Yeah. So when it says forbearing, meaning like you're very, very patient, like Haran was saying, they could come at you like something that's not your fault, but you're always calm because you bring their energy down. And then you diffuse the situation. You know what? Okay, let's try this. Let's do that. Bring the solution. They start to mimic your energy. And then realize that. And then you know what? They get to the point where they depend on you. Right, right. How is it that the king is like, yo, I need give me that advice. I need him. I need him. I need him. And you almost become immortal.
And even police do that, like jumping up in the hood and shit, being around drunk. They used to police jump out. So they never, brothers had stashes all kinds of places on them in different departments. So what they'd do to kind of know you was dirty, they'd like feel your heartbeat. And if you was like way scared beyond, because like when like that nervousness to a point, even police like state troopers, when you drive past them and you do like you look at them, or they know you see them and they know you see them and vice versa. But like if you do like a reaction that's out of the normal, that like you're not playing it cool, that shit'll blow your whole cover. It was up at Irvington. I remember the cop, he was patrolling the park. Old head, I knew he sold drugs over there, but he was dirty at the time. He was out there talking in the park with the dogs. So when the cop came, he looked and saw it was a cop and he jumped. When he turned, he like hurt, because you know how they patrol the parks on that trail. And he heard the engine coming up behind him, and he looked to see who it was. And when he saw a cop and him being like had drugs on him, he like did a small like little sturdy jump, and that made the cop. He had to knock in the roof because that made him sound like jump out like, yo, come in. And he searched him and he found like and got him locked up just like that. Because he like he ain't playing cool. Like when you in trouble, hey, what the Lord said, make not haste in the time of trouble. Like, and that's Steve, because the left hand learns from the right. You know what I mean? But that's old street code shit. Like, yo, if ever in the jam, nigga, do not panic, do not show nervousness, play it fucking cool. It was times I got ended up with a couple DUIs, and it was like 3 of them, like in my whole life. But the way I got out of it, I played it cool. And they knew like, yo, don't lie, Edomites, blue eyes, looking at me. They make me do this shit. But I was respectful and I played shit cool because a lot of times people, even though they Edomites are looking for the spirit on them, like, yo, this is a good guy, and I would hate to be the one to hang them. But if you playing nervousness shit, I don't know, or like, and you gonna make them nervous. And like, but if you know how to play shit cool and stay stoic, you can find your way out of a lot of shit. So that scripture go a long way, man.
That's almost as like how I said, agree with that adversary victory.
That's how individual.
Right. And it goes, you can take it on many different levels, right? I've been to court for a ticket, speeding ticket, and you go there just based on how I spoke to the judge, it could have gone from $300 something to $85, literally. And I saw people come up, and the whole time I'm just sitting there, normally I go with my book, and they see that. I go in there, I take everything out, put it in there. The guy's like, damn, you know what to do already. I say, hey, this is what it is. You gotta know the rules. Go in there, bam, take a seat. Always the first person there. My name is always first. You go in there, the people, the clerks that work in there, they come in, have casual conversation with you. Just based on how you move. Oh, where you from? I came all the way from there. Like, yeah. There was one cop, he literally spoke to me and he said, yo, man, I got you, man. He went back in there and spoke to the prosecutor. And he said, yo, you see that name? Yo, give him a break. When I was leaving, he's like, yo, come here real quick. I stopped, I spoke to him, I said, yo, man, da, da, da. He's like, you know, they were gonna give you like a whole bunch of points and all this extra stuff. And I was like, that's what I was expecting. And then they gave me this. He said, what did you get? I said, he gave me a $85 parking ticket, something like that. From speeding to 85 on a parking. No points. And he was like, yeah, I had to let him know, man, you're a good dude, man. You're a good dude. Just like that. And I was like, I didn't do anything special, but just the demeanor. You know, just being, just calm and relaxed. And when I went up to the judge, had my hand behind my back, and I was like, Your Honor, and all these, everyone comes in, hey, Your Honor, they say, oh, judge, and then they'll just speak regular. They don't have any decorum. But just that decorum alone, the judge is looking at me quietly. I'm speaking quietly. I'm pronouncing my words very well. I said what I had to say. She said what she said, and I repeated what she said. And I said, I plead for so and so.
I want to back that up with a scripture. Could you grab Matthew, like 26, on Peter, in the NIV, on Peter's third, when they asked him the third time, like, did you with your Abishai? Because this was heavy, but even though this was like his test, but it shows us how to be. Because he denied 3 times.
But yeah, man, after that, the judge was like, she said something about, I like your character, something. She said something. She's like, everyone that's came here so far, they didn't show me what you showed me. And then she asked me, she's like, would you rather this or that? I said, Your Honor, I'll go with this one. She says, I'll do it for you, sir. And then she mentioned my name with Mr. And then she said my name after that.
Wow.
Yeah. And after that, I was like, thank you so much, Your Honor. And I wish you a wonderful day.
It's funny, like, people that higher up get those type of things.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, people that do things get those type of things.
You got to be with the connected. Yeah,
but we
exactly.
with the Lord.
There you go.
Because it's all the Lord, but they just going through the left-hand side.
And the Passover, when we got stopped by the police coming home, they saw the strap on the dashboard. He was like, oh,
Strap means Bible.
Bible. They saw the Bible on the dashboard. And their whole attitude changed with us because they see us, you see a Jake gold teeth in his mouth. They probably thought it was a drugs transaction.
Yeah, a lot from NJ to PA moving drugs.
Yeah, so when he saw the strap, he asked when he saw the Bible, he saw the Bible on the dash, and their whole attitude changed. Like, they did what they did as far as protocols called, but they didn't give us too much of a hassle. So it's off the spirit that how people deal with you, how you based upon where your spirit coming from.
And if you know you in the right, then you don't have nothing to panic about. Because the scripture says wickedness is very timorous. So if you're doing wicked things, then you're gonna be shaky, like you saying.
Wicked flee with no man pursuit.
Right.
Yeah.
So you feel like you're always looking over your shoulder, you're doing like hasty maneuvers, like you're moving kind of weird. But if you know that you're not doing nothing wrong, you calm, you talk to them, you listen, reason like men, they're gonna leave you be 9 times out of 10.
You're gonna get paid. I'll be right back.
But they looking for that. A lot of times they might even poke you a couple times. They see it through, because they know like some people are tucking. But if they poke you, if you a nigga and you get poked, that shit gonna squirt out. So Esau get like the cops know, like, oh, this nigga trying to play it cool. Let me.
Oh, there's a nigga in there.
And that shit squirted out, and they see it, and they gotta say that to us. Like, yeah, I knew it.
I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to the nigga inside. I want to talk to the nigga. I want to talk to who's in charge.
Yeah, so, go ahead.
Peter, you said NIV, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is Matthew 26. I'll start at verse 69. In the NIV, it says, now Peter was sitting out in the courtyard, and a servant girl came to him. You also were with Yahushua of Galilee, she said. But he denied it before them all. I don't know what you're talking about, he said. Then he went out to the gateway where another servant girl saw him and said to the people there, this fellow was with Yahushua of Nazareth. He denied it again with an oath. I don't know the man. After a little while, those standing there went up to Peter and said, surely you are one of them. Your accent gives you away. Then he began to call down curses and swore to them, I don't know the man.
What? It wasn't his accent, but they were saying like it's the way you talk and you carry yourself. So, and that's bad right there to show you like, yo, I see. Even though we not believers, I know how to do these moves. And even though you try to hide it, you outside. You know what I mean? And that's how we supposed to be like. We supposed to like act and be. I think it wasn't. It might not have been the NLV. It might have been the NLT. But I think it said like it didn't say like your accent. I think it said more like you speak like one of them. You know what I mean? So like when you talk, your attitude, your behavior, your character, everything about you. When you you could be straight Clark Kent. When you interact with somebody, they gonna be like, yo, you one of them Israelite saints. You follow your house God. Like they could see. They supposed to see it. They ain't supposed to be like, oh, you some hood or this and that. Even if your appearance look like that. I mean, but once they talk, they say it's two first impressions. When you look and when you open your mouth. Because when you look, it's a carnal first impression. But when you open your mouth, comes within you. You know what I mean? So you got two times to make a first impression. From your appearance and so when you open your mouth. But it was like they said to Peter, we know you one of them because you sound the way you talk and carry yourself sound like one of them dudes. And that, right?
A quick quote. There's a quote, I forgot who it's by, but it says, better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. So just like you were saying, somebody might look at you and think, you don't really know shit. But if you don't really know shit, you open your mouth, you definitely don't know shit. But if you never say anything, it's always just going to be speculation. Right. Like, I think he looks like he's a dumbass, but I never heard him speak before. Right. So I'm going to leave it alone. Yeah, and the precept that I have for you, which you just mentioned, was Acts 4:13. It says, now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John and perceived that they were unlearned and ignorant men, they marveled and they took knowledge of them that they had been with Yahushua. Like you were saying, they could tell, like, yeah, these men definitely been with Yahushua because the way they move is not how regular people move, right?
Right, because Yahushua teaches us to teach with authority from within. Everybody else teaches from authority that's been given to them. Like, okay, you are a pastor because you went to a theologian school to gain some form of knowledge, certificate, go teach it. But for us, we didn't have to do that. It comes from within. I believe the word there, authority, is the Greek word exousia, or exousia, which is authority from within. Right, that goes with the spirit. Now, a quick testimony based on what the Quran said. This had to be last week. I want to say Sunday. And I was doing a job, and it was a Jake woman, and she actually reminded me of you. I was telling before about it. Yeah, and as soon as I got there, I parked, got to the front of the house, and I'm getting my equipment. She comes out of her house and she's like, "Oh, you're from?" I said, "Yeah." And I said, "I'll be with you in a minute." She said, "Okay." So she goes back in, and I go in there and I introduce myself. Hey, I'm so and so from the company that I work with. And I gave her a firm handshake, looked her in the eye, and she held on just for a split second, and then she let go. And then she smiled at me. And I said, I looked around. I was like, "You guys have any wires going?" And she's like, "No." I was like, "Okay, so we got a new one." I said, "What would you prefer everything to be?" So she shows me. I was like, "We're gonna put everything right here." She said, "Oh yeah, I figured." So boom, I start working. So I'm going back and forth doing my thing, and then she starts making small talk. And then I guess, as I'm speaking, she's reading my energy and my spirit. So she gets a call from a friend. I guess I perceive that to be a friend. And she's talking to the lady, and "Girl," she said, "Girl, I got somebody special in my house." She said, the guy working in my house, she said, he said, "I think I got a descendant of Judah in my house." That's what she said. Yeah. He said, "He a descendant of Judah." And then she was like, "You know what, girl, I gotta let you go. I gotta let you go. He's working. I'm gonna call you back later." So as she starts having conversations, telling me about the next door neighbor, and he's an Edomite, and how much problems he's given her and her daughter because they just moved to this new place. Wow. And she's like, "Oh, he don't know that we God's chosen people." He said, She said, "We're descendants from Adam. We're Adam's line." So she's a dick woman. Yeah, yeah. Older woman. And she said, I read. She said, I read energy. I read energy. And she said, you gotta thank whatever God you serve and your parents for making you how you are. That's what she said. And I started getting nervous. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I just want to do my job and leave, man. Yeah, like, what the fuck? So I'm like, shit, like, I'm not looking at her. I'm just kind of working. I'm just kind of like, yeah, hey, hey. And then she said, we're descendants of Adam. She said, when you go back into Genesis, the Lord talked about creatures. These people are the creatures. We are the main event. We are God's people themselves. I said, yo, that's right. That's right. And then she said, I perceive you to be, she said, you're a righteous man. She said, you're a righteous man. You have a righteous spirit. You're a righteous man. And I was like, hey. And I just kept doing my thing, like trying to not acknowledge what she's saying. Because I'm like, man, the Lord is what makes us righteous. We're not righteous, man. The Lord is the one who makes us righteous. And so I'm keeping it to myself. And she goes, you definitely from the tribe of Judah or something. You're a descendant of Judah or something. And I was so close to saying, I'm actually a Levite. I was gonna say that. And then Spirit was like, that's still exactly. And I was like, I just kept, I was like, hey, that's right. It's from the scriptures. We are the people. I kept it real cool because you're at work. You don't want to say too much. The customer make up, oh, this person, So I'm just keeping it cool. But she didn't speak like she knew anything about like the Israelite thing. But I foresee that she does. Because you were Jake, how you know about Judah and all that? Like it didn't come out of nowhere, right? So she goes, you're a righteous man. She said, I could read this righteous spirit in you. So the moment you walked in, you looked me in my eye, you shook my head, I knew that you were a special man. Yo, and then she goes on to, she calls her daughter, and she's talking to her daughter. She said, I think I have a prophet of the Lord in my house. Yo, that's what I texted him. I texted before, I forget exactly what I said. Something to that effect. And I said, yo, I'm texting you this so I can remember to tell you what actually the story is about. I got back in my car, I looked in the heavens, and I was just quietly looking up in the heavens, and I said, Lord, you do have people on this earth that could actually read spirits, but this was like on a different level. I've never interacted with somebody that just doesn't know me from anywhere, but just based on my small interaction. And then before I was like, you know what it is? It's because the spirit of the Lord that's on us, we act and move different from the rest of the world. So when they meet us, it's a like impact, like, this is a different energy.
Right.
It's not like normal, like I'm not used to this.
I find a lot of people telling me they fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, yo, they just feeling the things. And I listen, of course, I'll be an active listener. Like, I do the okay, but I don't put my input in because I don't know how. But they'll be like, yo, so like, what do you say? Or they'll be arguing what they do or some shit. Like, and they hang up. They'll be like, hey, so like, you heard that? And of course, I'll act like they still on the phone, like, I know you're talking to me, but I act like, sometimes you gotta be a fool. Yeah. They're like, yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm like, oh. Oh, yeah, so, wait, what do you think about that? And it's like, they seeking like my energy, or what people do a lot, they like to touch it. Like the Lord, lady that had an incident, she was like, only if I could get through the crowd to grab that edge of the garment. Meaning, so what people find out, like, because if you got like a negative energy and you touch a positive source, you will pull energy from that source. That's why he said, like, he touched, like, he touched, he grabbed my garment. You know what I mean? She was healed. But like, one thing people do, and you'll think like they just being touchy. So what some men do it to promote dominance, like, yeah, man, like, You hear what I'm saying? And you be like, yo, man, come on, that's hood niggas and shit. But some people will just be talking to you and they couldn't help but like to be like this or to be like, yeah, like, and you be like, you could sometimes want to say like, yo, man, don't touch me or whatever. But sometimes you could feel like when they do touch you, you feel like a vibe. It don't be like, I wouldn't say it's heavy like the Lord was, but like you feel like a vibe of like when they
transfer of energy.
right. But if in their mind they feel like, yo, like I'm because sometimes people do that when they feel like you're not listening to them, so they touch you to get your attention. But I'm an active listener. So I'll be like, okay, and I spit that, and I'm like, oh, so what you think about that? I'm talking to you. But I'm not putting input, but I'm giving you feedback on what you're saying. And I'm letting you ramble on. But they still had some time of reaching and like reach out and touch. You know what I mean? Then like 3 minutes later, they're touching you. You know what I mean? And it's like, yo. And you know, us as men, it's like, yo, but even if you my brother, my older brother, he touched me a lot, especially when he drinking. I'm like, yo, bro, stop touching me. No, man, we like our steak, man. I mean, like, yo, bro, stop touching me, bro. He's like, no, man, like, yeah, he's like, no, man, stop touching me, bro. Stop touching me. And the Lord kind of was off with the like, but we carry vibes and energy about. And some people might, they be more superstitious. They be like, they might be like, oh, if I rub on you, maybe some of what you gotta rub off on me. Now, even though that's superstition and they say it like a joke, but they know like even if you're around somebody and you could get a tip of what they know, or you could get a little insight of what they believe in, it'll change your whole life. And that's what that miracle was about. Like if you could get close to my chosen, close enough to their circle, to talk to them, to reach out to them, to know an increment of what they know, if they're willing to share it to you and sit in their presence for long enough, they could change your whole life.
If these are downplays the spirit, yeah, yeah, even people actually. I remember when I was in high school, when I first come into the truth, I was like a righteous menace. I terrorized everybody in there with the scriptures. Principals, teachers, everybody got to work. And I remember there was this one teacher in there. She was I wouldn't call her a witch, but she practiced like left hand stuff. So she knew like she was aware of the spirit, yeah, but she was on the left hand with it. And she would talk about that, like, the idols and all that shit. And she told me on multiple occasions. But I remember this one time I was I went to class. I had to eat my teacher in there. And I come in late. And I hear what he's about to say, like, oh, we gotta read this book and shit. He always used to fall for this. So I purposely started arguing. And I do it with one of my friends over, and I say it mad loud. And I say something I know he can't help but to join in on. So he walked past the table a bit. He come back, he stand there, he listen for a bit. And I'll say something, the white people, I mean, they don't even get it. The Bible says this. Then he was like, well, I mean, actually, if you have to go in there, that's not really what he's talking about. And then I do that to drain the whole class. So the whole class, it's just us going back and forth. Before you know it, the bell rang, and then we out of there. So
Right. He didn't even hit the fucking curriculum.
None of that shit. Every day I go in there, it's the same shit for the whole semester. And so the assistant teacher in there, she was the one. And I remember one time, like I used to sit at the front, and I moved to the back, and she came to me, and she was talking to me. She was like, randomly, she didn't even come up with an icebreaker. Yeah, she did. Randomly, she looked at me, she's looking at me. She's like, yo, you know how Jake, when they into spiritual stuff, they talk with a certain demeanor. She's like, no. I'm like, okay, you got close and shit. She's like, I'm like, why you say that? He's like, your energy. He's like, you didn't even notice. He said, when you came back here to the room, the whole energy of the class shifted. He said, look at those seats over there. Look at where everybody is. Everybody else is always sitting right around here. He said, the whole energy of the class shifted in here. Yeah. But I be coming in late. Yeah. And so she's in there. She's like, yo, whenever you walk into the class, it's like a different energy. And every time I go back and forth with him, though, everybody's all invested in the back and forth. Because I love that shit. Once I found out it worked, I was like, oh, hell yeah. That's it. Because if we don't do work, that's on you. You're supposed to keep us in check. So I always go in there. And I'll be cutting this guy left and right, left and right, left and right.
He's looking at you like as an insubordinate.
Yep.
So he's broken.
Hurt.
Yeah.
And then you hit him with history, you hit him with words, and he's like, now he's looking embarrassed. I like to deal with logic. I like to make you put your foot in your mouth. So I ask him a question here, question here, question here, and then bring him right back to the first question, and now he's like, oh, fuck, I said the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Set me up.
And I ain't getting paid enough for this shit.
You messed me up.
Yeah, I messed him up. And I remember this other Edomite professor, I used to do the same shit with him. So with him, he tried to be friends with me by force. He's like, you know a lot. Why don't we talk about this instead? Because he know I'm gonna talk about. No, but I wanted to say that because like that energy thing is real. And he like explicitly told me like, yo, you be dealing with idols and the freaking voodoo, whatever dolls and shit like that. And she's like, she was never hostile towards me, but she was just like, yo, you have this energy about you that's just like it's positive, but it's strong. And when you first come to the truth, you don't really like understand. For me, it was just like it was hot. Yeah, it was. I mean, yo, cafeteria, lunchtime, from first period to last period, everybody in there is getting to work. If I'm in the hallway, freaking principal, I saw a principal one time. I say, yo, Mr. Come here. Go to class. You cut that shit. So everybody in the whole school just they knew me for that.
Right.
But I was like, obviously, you don't have the balance of wisdom fully yet. So it was more just like fire on everybody.
Right.
And I remember after we graduated, when I talked to a couple of them, they always like hesitant because they think I'm about to fire their ass. So when they talk to me and I'm calm, they're like, oh, like this really you? Like you didn't tell me and I said something. Like what's going on here? But I'm like, yo, like I understand now. Like it's not for everybody. I'm not gonna force it down your throat.
They see that light though, because we all many Yahweh side. And the more you deal with the Lord, and the more you get in tune with Yahweh side, the more that influence is magnified. The more you fast, the more you pray, the more you study, the more you break from this world and come on the level. Like we feel that in different aspects, but it becomes more magnified. So when people are afraid to like say things around, people be afraid to do things around, people be afraid to curse around. Yeah, they be like, and you be like, yo, like, nah, you might tell them like, nah, you can like, what's talking about? But they feel like, nah, like I've been like a divine presence under Yahweh and Yoshan type of presence. And that's why if people even tell you, like, could you pray for me? Yeah, and you would think, like, why don't you pray for yourself? Because they feel as though they too dirty to pray to the Lord. It says the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open to their prayer. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil. So, like, a lot of people feel like, oh, that's the fuck shit. I pray to the Lord, but I think he ignored me because I'm guilty. I mean, because a lot of times people feel like I'm not making no effort towards the Lord. I don't got no bargaining shit. I don't have shit to do with nothing. Right? But however, I know you in tune, and maybe you could vouch for me. People do that in this world. You know what I mean? You go to Starbucks, some neighborhood somewhere, them in the LI, I'd be like, yo, y'all know I like, yo, don't buy me. I know I'm a spicy. I know you're from the North Babylon. People slide through me and mixing with shit. They're like, oh, we know that guy. He good. He good. You know what I mean? So, like, people want you to, like, people in the world, they use you to vouch. You know what I mean? So, people in the world, on the spiritual note, they know you're in tune with the Lord. And they know they dirt. They know they ain't trying. They know they ain't giving no effort. They know they enjoying this world. And they know they don't have the bargaining chips to even approach the Lord. So what they do is they try to beg, they try to, when they ain't had no bus money, they jump on the garbage truck, buy the garbage truck. They try to use you as like Job and his friends. The Lord said, I would have aired your friends out if Job ain't vouched for you. So these people in the world, they know what it is. And they see it and they be like, yo, they could pray for me. And they didn't. So when they saying that, they looking at you like, yo, I know you somewhat in tune. And if the Lord is about to fuck me up, you might fall back and fix something on my behalf.
Like we like that toward the Howard side. You know, the Father is like we can't go directly to the Father. We like the Howard side is our intercessor in between us and the Father. So then the levels is that the Lord set up priests out here to where people feel like they could come to us because we are a part of Yahweh Shah, Lord's will.
Right.
So it's like the same level.
That's their best hope.
Right.
Like from them, like on the carnal note, like they that is like I hope based off of what he's doing, it's better than what I'm doing. Dang. He's part of the elect to say something on my behalf. And that's all he could go on.
The chain of command. And I remember when we first came into the truth, because Haran, the Lord woke him up first, and he would always press me about the name. You know, every single, and not even every day, every couple of times in a day, he just pull up randomly, what's the name of the Lord? And I'm like, yo, I'm playing Call of Duty right now on the mic with my friends. And you out here telling me, yo, what's the name of the Lord? And I'm like, yo, bro, like, I don't know. He's like, you got mad aggressive and shit. I'm like, damn, bro, like, because my mind was still in the world. I hadn't woken up yet.
Right.
But he kept on like every day. And I'll get it wrong. He's like, he get tight. You know, I get the name wrong. I say that, yeah, Yahweh Shai. Why? That's not Yahweh Shai, man. Yahweh Shai, you got to get, yo. And I told him, I said, look, if it's the name of the Lord, I'm going to get it. At some point, I'm gonna get it. If that's truly his name. And I remember the first time I was by myself and I said it, the whole thing. Because when you first hear Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, it sounds like a lot. Like, Yahweh Shai, yeah. And then we got the Yahweh Shai from this. Yeah. Like that's the thing. And I remember when I came into the truth in my senior year of high school. So that whole senior year from the beginning, it was just like I came in on some different shit. And I remember one time, it was the school I was in, it was a big building with 7 schools. So thousands and thousands and thousands of kids in there. And whenever there was a fire drill, God, everybody comes outside. It's like a concert, like a mob. And I remember one time there was a fire drill. You know, we got to go back inside in waves because there's so many kids. And there's these 2 twins in there, demons. And what they like to do is they want to provoke me and say something. You know, oh, you said the Bible this, what about this? What about that? And one time they were saying something about the names, and I got tight. And I was like, they were like, no, the name is Jesus. And I was like, no, it's not. I said, how about Shem Yahweh Shai? And when I said that, I yelled it, everybody. And I mean, it was loud. Everybody stopped. It was just silent for like 2 seconds, complete silence. They stopped on their phones, they stopped talking, they just turned. And then they went back to exactly what they were doing. And when I like experienced that, because that 2 seconds felt like a long time. And I was like, oh shit. It's like when everybody's talking and you say one thing and it's like, yo, why did everybody get quiet? Now my shit sound mad loud. And at that point I was like, yo, that name, like nobody even laughed. They didn't even like try to disrespect it. They were just like, oh shit. All right, hey, whatever, man. Yeah, you got it, yeah. And I was like, damn. It sounds like it's just some words, but it's not just some words. There's a spirit behind it. And if we could see the spirit world for what it is, what they do in these anime is they just show you what it would look like. Where you got aura on a certain guy or spiritual presence, they exacerbate that. But in reality, that's true. And the Lord right now, for the purpose of what we're doing, He has to keep us in a low state because it'd be hard to come and focus and being diligent and doing this when every day, every 2 seconds, somebody's like, yo, hey, this, you know, it's too much. Even Paul, when that chick was crying after him, he got mad and rebuked the demon. And what was she saying? She said, these are the men of God that will lead us onto the way of salvation. And he's like, damn, yo, every time you gotta say this shit. You know, so the Lord got us in a low state, even though we're like handcuffed from exactly, and we can't focus on the main thing. But once this is done and the Lord opens it up and He's like, your job is done, that's why it says we're going to shine like sparks amongst the stars. That shining is going to be bright.
Look at how they teach celebrities today. Celebrities don't get to live normal lives as much as they wish they could. You don't think celebrities wish they could just walk with their son in the streets like we do? No. They don't get to do that. They got to be secluded. They got to be shielded. They can't be moving freely. I was telling before the other, I was like, yo, I'm so grateful and thankful that people don't really know it's like that, because imagine being on a train or somebody saying, yo, you from YouTube, yo, they'll be mad uncomfortable. bro, like I just want to be left alone. I just came back from work.
You might want to hurt.
Yeah.
You might not even know.
Right.
But it's like fence is down because like they got the element of surprise.
Exactly. You know, so I'm always like, I'll be in the car talking about like, Lord, water for keeping us so low key because people don't know who we are, and that's good because imagine going to work, you show up to somebody's house, they're like, oh, I see on YouTube, oh, you're so cool, so. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's gonna be weird, it's gonna be awkward, but you pray that, Lord willing, they are actually people that listen genuinely because they're gonna treat you different. They're not gonna bother you. They're gonna know, oh, you working right now, so I'm gonna just say shalom and leave you alone. But if it's somebody who's like watching you or something like, yo, I be watching your YouTube, oh, it's man like
You know, when Jake first hear the truth, it's like they don't know the difference between the spirit and then men. So they just combine it all and put you on a pedestal.
Like, bro,
He's like, no, easy. Relax. Don't get me fucked up. Lord gonna be like, oh, you like that phrase, huh?
Sort of conflict that happened. One time was Dunkin' Donuts, and I guess he's a believer. That's all on y'all about to But like I was just like still on my way getting back home. So like when I leave a lawyer, I'm like a fucking robot. I'm just so when he said to me, if he still watches, I apologize if I seem low, like if I'm and go where I want. And then one spot where I work at where I work security at, yeah, I think there was an event there or whatever happened. He was very low key about it. He didn't like make it loud or anything. He's like, yo, I know that you guys met about watching online or whatever. Yeah, he's like, he wasn't like he didn't make it like loud or anything. Like, yeah, I just want to show respect. Yeah, it just went on his way afterwards. That was the number two. Then there was so what you were saying about how some people try to put you on a pedestal. You know a situation about the individual.
No,
you talked to him on the phone. Like, when he first met me, he found out I was Israel and he had a conversation. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not surprised that you would want. I had a feeling about you. I'm like, yeah. But so I'm just a dude. The Lord takes care of me. I had to tell that. I'm not surprised about you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, up there. Yeah.
He was talking about us about hella topics. He just bust out of nowhere. Like, hey, you look just like Moses. And I'm like, God, oh, that killed everything. Because I'm like, and you could tell it was bothering him the whole time, but he didn't know when to say it. And he dealt with the conversations at hand. And he just said it like, hey, that's legendary to me. He was like, hey, you look that's like Moses. And I was like, damn, but I showed you that like spirit. That shit. When he said it, you know he held it in. Cause we all reading scriptures talking, and he probably couldn't hold it no more. And once that point finished, I don't know who was here, but that was legendary. He was like, and you look just like, and we was like, what the hell that guy was doing? The guard, nigga, the fat. Yeah. I was like,
He
man,
wanted to scoff, but he couldn't.
Yeah.
oh, you was there. Yeah. He was trying to scoff. That we all started dying and shit, especially me. I was cracking up. If I wasn't too loud physically in the spirit, I was dying because I was like, man. But that's all like the spirit of Yahweh to say that we are the people of the Lord through our people. Right? When you see me, you see the Father.
I got one more precept on here, and Lord willing, we can wrap it up. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, start at verse 1. It says, but the souls of the righteous are in the hand of God, and there shall no torment touch them. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and their departure is taken from misery. Anybody could know. And they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. Like the seven brothers of the Maccabees. Verse 5, and having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For God proved them and found them worthy for himself. Like going back to what I was saying earlier, the Lord put us in the hottest part of the fire, just like he did with Job. Really, what the Lord did was he proved his words to Satan through Job. He said, I told you that he was a righteous man, right? And at the end of all of this, what did I prove to you? You gave him your best. The only thing you couldn't do was kill him. And Job went through hell. He's like, yo, I was disrespected by even children, yo. They looked at me like I was that little creature from the Lord of the Rings type shit. Like, yo, don't even get close to him. You know?
That his own clothes hated him.
Yeah. Yup. Shit. Yeah. But hey, as it says, the Lord found him worthy. That is what the Lord looks at as worth. You know? It says, as gold in the furnace hath he tried them and received them as a burnt offering. And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. Yeah, like Job.
That's why the Apostle Paul said that our bodies is a living sacrifice.
Right,
It's a burnt offering. It's a living sacrifice. It's a normal sacrifice. The animal is dead.
Yeah.
This is a living sacrifice, a sacrifice unto life, not unto death.
Mhm.
You know?
Right. It says, last verse, verse 8, they shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Lord shall reign forever. And that's a beautiful ending to the story, because the Lord, he not only gave us the things that we need to know, but why. He gave us the why, which is one of the most important things to understand.
And he don't have to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like once he do that, that kind of kills the degree of faith.
Mhm.
Because you're like, oh, okay, like, you know what I mean? But when you don't know why, because like when he sent Paul to Damascus, a lot of times he told the prophets, like, yo, I'll tell you what to do once you get there. Like, I'm not going to give you the whole shit because it's an act of faith, you know? So, but when people want to know everything before they go, it's just like dealing with certain things like resources. Like, it was like a wide saying with like investing. It was like, when I thought about it, I'm like, that's a heavy act of faith, which is, they say, we don't wait till we have more to start. We start with what we have and create more. Because if you got to wait to have more to start, you're going off of the flesh. But when you be like, yo, I don't have enough to do what I want to do, but I'm going to start with what I have and have faith to create more to do what I want to do. And there was another one, they see it, they believe it because they've seen it. But we believe it because we have already seen it. You know what I mean? Because people need to see shit to believe it, like a chariot or something, or the coming judgment. Like the Lord said, you see me and believe, but blessed be they that don't see me and believe. So the saying goes, they need to see it to believe it, but we believe it because we have already seen it. And that's the difference. That's an act of going off of the flesh, and that's an act of going off of faith.
But the wicked generation seeketh after a sign. That's all it was about. It needed some kind of carnal, something. Which he was doing miracles right in front of them, and they still wasn't seeing it. It's like, what more do you need him to do? He's healing people, doing all but that was cool, but we need the big one. I need you to show me this and that. It's like, nah, like, doing it already. You know what I'm saying? But do you know what that is too? That's analysis paralysis. You overthinking and overanalyzing it, and like you said, that paralyzes you from making the action, the first step.
Yeah.
That's like when they say in martial arts, the hardest belt to get is the white belt, because most people don't even start the journey.
Yeah.
You would think it's the black belt, but now, like once you get it rolling, that's a natural progression of discipline.
Exactly.
But most people don't even begin to have a white belt and apply to the truth. Most people don't even pick up the scriptures and receive the spirit and receive that faith to even begin the journey. So that's a blessing.
And you just take what you learn from that and just wash, rinse, and repeat.
Yeah.
Because in the world of finances, they say like, your first 100 grand or your million, once you get over that hump, everything else is like pour in. But once you get over that hump, like it's so easy to make like outside of Esau and his bullshit, but just based off of regular investments and things like that, they say it's so once you get over that first hump and you break that barrier, it's so easier for the rest of the bread to pour in.
Like an avalanche.
Yeah, it's like a snowball effect. Like it just picks up and it just rolls in. And even if you hit rock bottom, you always could take the patience and things you learned and knew to always bounce back. It's kind of like muscle memory. You know what I mean? You always feel like, just like, yo, I could just do this and that and just bounce back because it's already been installed in me.
Hey, you brought out the point about put that piece of back there? Yeah. How they wanted to basically see to believe in that back there.
Wait, we think that
The last point, the last piece.
Wisdom of Solomon 3 says here, I mean, I'll jump around certain points in here. Verse 2, in the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, but their departure is taken from misery, and they're going from us to the utter destruction, but they are in peace. For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. Having a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded, for God proved them and found them worthy for himself.
So now, there's a point you made a point about how basically Jake always had to see to believe. Now that goes just like how in the ancient world, Jake, that's always been a thing with Jake. They always wanted to see to believe.
Right.
That's why that caused Aaron to have to build that calf, because they weren't satisfied with, we don't have to see our God to know he's there. They were like, no, we want to have something tangible to say, okay, this is the representative of the God we serve. No,
Right.
you can't have that. See, the Lord is, and it's a real thing, because the nation of Israel is the only nation that has a God that doesn't dwell in a temple, right? We have a God that built a whole nation, but he's never been visible. These other gods, they built a temple for their gods. Go in there and worship their gods as a tangible thing, but their gods are not even living.
You know what's crazy? He's always been visible.
Ooh, nature, human things, exactly.
Because how do you see the Lord? It works.
It works.
The Lord is known by the judgment which he gets.
There you go.
Hey, that's why it says in another part of Wisdom of Solomon that the heathen were less to be blamed because they'll worship the host of heaven.
Yes.
Because those are actually, divine things in the sense that, like, that's a miracle. Right. To have
The sun, the moon.
a flaming ball in the sky. So, but when you formulate an idol and like actually chop down a tree and then that's worse. It's both of them is idolatry.
Right.
But it's more understandable if you was to worship the moon and things like that, because it's like, yeah, that is
That's
a beautiful
life.
sight.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, wow, that is a sign of the Lord. But then you go and take it to the next level and you chop a little man and make like dope. What's the fish head guy? Dagon, shit like that.
Golden calf.
Yeah, so basically that's the same thing. That Jake has always been on that type of time. That's why you brought out the quote about, or the precept about this generation seek of the sign, right? But they're not going to get that kind of sign. They're only going to get the sign of the prophets. The prophets are your sign. Okay, you're not going to get all the shit. Well, y'all be saying this, but we need to see to believe it. Nigga, you going to see when the missiles is coming down. See, like the Sapon said, we've what these things already seen.
They need to see it to believe it, but we believe it because we have already seen it.
There you go.
And if you're not spiritual, that'll go over your head. Because if you be like, if people need to see it to believe it, you believe it because you have already seen it. Because if you keep that second half corner, you'd be like, that means the same part as the second half. You believe it because you have already seen it, not through the spiritual eye. But because that's just like, that is too heavy for people, because like, yeah, we need to see it to believe it. I see this, it's here, I can touch it through my 5 senses. That's why I believe it. Now you're saying, but you believe it trying to one up me because you have already seen it. That's the same shit, motherfucker. This is like you just flipping shit around. But nah, we've seen it through the spirit. And that's why we believe it, because we haven't seen it. And that's why our faith runs.
Hey, that's what the Apostle Paul said. Here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come. Seeking is looking for something. So it's like you've already seen it, but you're seeking it. Why is that? Because you know it's there. So you're looking to get it. Those who haven't seen it, they're not fighting for nothing. Because to them, it's like, I need to see it to believe it. For us, it's there. We've already seen it. That's why we're walking towards it. It's not like, oh, well, the kingdom. You talking about the kingdom, but I need to see a tangible building of the kingdom to believe that there's actually a kingdom there. We're like, nah, we don't need all that. We just need to know that there is a kingdom. That's all that we need. The knowledge alone is the sight that we have. The foresight that we have is like, we know it's there. As long as we get there, we're going to get that kingdom. It's right there. We just got to get there. Niggas like, nah, I'm not even going to go on that journey, because unless I see it right here, what's the point of me going there?
And they fear of losing out, because they think like, They think like a whole time waste thing. And their mind like, look, why waste time doing this and I could be doing this? Because niggas in this world teach you to stab, especially in this New York area, teach you that hustling, rap. I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. I don't got time to be wasted on shit that gonna be a waste of time. Know what I mean? So why even deal with shit that I don't like? What that's Corinthians say? It says things that are seen are temporary, but the things that are unseen are eternal. But people deal with that time that like I don't have no time to waste. If this shit now is going to contribute to what I'm doing, or I don't see no benefit in it through my five senses that I can. Don't get me wrong. The Bible you could use it practice to do basic things in life, and it apply. It's like those principles, not on the spiritual aspect, on the practical, and it helps. You know what I mean? But like people, they think like everything is practical. So they look at things like 1+1 is 2. In math, it does help to a degree in basic life, but the spirit always overrides the flesh. Now the flesh shit can make sense, but you got the chariots that they break all they break all of that. So and that's what Esau operates. Esau operates off of common sense. Well, it's this equation, this equation, and this shit happened. And he's like, yo, and that shit worked. He's like, damn, that was a hell of an analogy, a mathematically scientific equation you put together. But the Lord will come and just befoul all of that shit. Not even with nothing crazy, just with faith. Because a lot of times, hey, when Isaac, I was reading Genesis 26, when Isaac went to the land of Gerar, he told him to plant in the famine. Now, that ain't make no sense. No, the land is barren. Why the fuck you telling me to plant? I wanted to go to Egypt. He said, go to Egypt. That's not that. It's no carnal logic in that shit at all. Like yo, ain't nobody growing shit around here nowhere. And based off the scientific effects, the land is real. No nitrogen, phosphorus in the ground. It's all like fuck all of that. You ain't going to Egypt if Egypt was prosperous. You're not going to go there to depend on what man is going to do, like what you can get help from the flesh. Your ass will stay here amongst the Philistines in the land of Gerar. You're going to plant seeds, you're going to dig up Abraham's well, and you're going to plant seeds, and you're going to wait, and you're going to receive 100-fold. So, but if seeds are important in the famine, like you got seeds, you ain't trying to plant them shit anyway. You're trying to find fertile ground based off of common logic. Because the seed could be a duck. Now the seed's good, but you planted it in unfertile ground. So now you're wasting food, and it's a fucking famine. So the Lord like, listen, man, take your shit and plant it right here. You ain't going to eat, and you shall receive 100-fold. And that's so faith overrides physics. But that's what Esau operate off of physics. If your arms are this long, you throw the jab want to reach him here, to here, like the corner tip of his head. It's not enough to knock him out, but he should be dizzy for about 2.5 points for a second. And then you like, yo, that devil was right. But the part Esau fuck up at is that the spirit and the spirit will override logic every time. Every time.
That's why you have headlines like modern day events baffles experts. Because you're an expert. So it's like you're supposed to know all this shit. Why are you baffled by this thing that you're supposed to be an expert on? It's because the Lord has overridden what you thought as conventional wisdom. And he brought in some type of spiritual understanding. You'd be like, I've never seen nothing like this before. I've been a scientist for 50 years and I've never seen anything like this before.
Especially how the chariots move. When they be trying to calculate, when the chariots be like, boom, and they like break another way, because we looking at it as a couple of inches. That's like 100,000 pounds. They was like, yo, for like this end of the tree, for the chariot to shoot from this end of the tree to that end of the tree up there, that's like 200,000. 1,500. I don't know, but like that's a lot of miles. You think that's a couple of inches for it to stop on a dime, dissipate, and just stop up over here and then break open? And you saw like, no, like you can't like that's outside of like carnal, like that.
I would defy the odds.
Yeah,
Always gave us numbers that was way smaller against our enemies, and we always defeated them. Like David was a symbolic defying the odds with Goliath. As big as he was, Dave or his small self defeated him. And that's just how he do. It's like defying the odds of physics, you know?
and one more piece that I know first going to step out, but I'm telling you about that. The Lord is- Give me Sirach 1 and 3. But hey, the Lord is like when he said this is still you what type level he's on, which we could never get on. We are bug out. But he give us a little taste. But read that.
Sirach 1 and 3. Who can find out the height of heaven and the breadth of the earth and the deep and wisdom?
And wisdom, how deep wisdom goes, because you always learning, no matter how much you learn. You know,
Wisdom hath been created before all things, and the understanding of prudence from everlasting. The word of God Most High is the foundation of wisdom.
jump from the top 1 and 1. I think it says the days of eternity.
Yeah. Sirach 1 and 1. All wisdom cometh from the Lord and is with him forever. Who can number the sand of the sea and the drops of rain and the days of eternity?
So now the sands of the sea, you might try to logically do that with a machine. Because Esau be like, let's try to do that. Yeah. The drops of rain. He might got some hard shit. How much rain drops hit New York City this month? He might try to do that, but the Lord said, okay, who could number the days? Who the fuck can number? The Lord said, I can. But if you think about that, like, yeah,
That's it.
go to another scripture.
Another precept. That's
Like, yo, you can't, like, the number, the days of the day, innumerable by definition. But he can number it.
Well, because you think about it, he's outside of eternity. He is the ancient of days. He was there before the constant of time, which would be eternity. Eternity is a constant of time. Right? It never ends the endless duration of time. It
What
just
is
never
the
ends.
number? I'm not trying to get too crazy, but what if it's like actually something simple like zero? Because the Lord don't live like in the past, present, and like how we do. The time like is depicted by the sun and the moon. But even when we in the kingdom, we going to be on certain planets where it's like sleep signs or this and that. Like in Dragon Ball Z, the God Bearer, he used to like sleep and wake up like 50 years later off of a nap. So like Goku, I think it was Goku or Gohan, they went somewhere and came back and motherfuckers old as hell. Because time don't like time changes. Time is different than the time change. From 100 So basically, a year's worth of training a day, time much different than time change. Like with the gravity, the moon, so because these are time telling instruments. You know, that's why sundial and watches are circular. But so he placed us in time, but time don't mean nothing to him. But he let you know, like, yo, I can number the days of eternity. And you just kind of like, and when you try to like look at that, and it's just like crazy, bro. It's like the Lord is bad. What type of power you dealing with?
I have a precept to add to you. I think so. 1 Timothy 6 and 20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust. Avoid profane and vain babbling and oppositions of science, falsely so called. Yeah, so that's this man's vain science and trying to number things and do things like
Number the people and all that.
right. And even there's another one where it says basically if the moon was to cease and all these different things was to cease, then the Lord would cast off his people.
Right.
And here it is, Esau really trying to fulfill that.
Right,
You
right,
know, like you said, block out the sun. You know, if he could, he'll try to blow up the damn moon. Not the damn, but the blessed moon of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, you know? He tried that. Yep. That's what he's trying to do. They want to nuke the moon. Just for what?
They said they got resources on the moon. So
So the moon is hard. So they big concept of it. If we like bomb it, it'll break up what's in it, and we'll come after this bomb to pull whatever resources from it that Earth doesn't have, and we'll use that to make us more God.
Because they said that the moon dust has all types of precious metals and things in it.
I bet it do. The sun is way, you know what I mean? But I bet it do because it's a whole another entity.
Yeah.
That wasn't meant to go out on Earth. Because they make a lot of these technology off of like silver and gold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just things he planted here, oil and stuff like that. But if we start figuring like, yo, if we could get an element that's outside of the periodic table, that's from another element, like the moon or whatever, and merge it and start mixing it with shit down here. Imagine how like bring that Lex Luthor type spirit.
that end up fucking everything up because the reason why it's up there is it functions perfectly up here. Bring it down here, it's going to cause a reaction that you might not even want. But these devils will never study that. Like the whole AI robot shit. Like we don't know how this is going to play out, but we're still going to pursue it regardless. Like why would you? Only a devil, son of perdition, son of destruction.
Why would you create something that's smarter than
Right.
like nobody does that? Even in this world, they say you overqualified.
Right.
Like you come to a job and they be like, yo, this is that, this and that, and they won't hire you. And then the reason they be like, so they won't take you. They was discrimination that they just say you overqualified. Because we don't need you coming here with your expertise and within 2 or 3 years taking over. Then you get the fuck out of here. You will never work there. You gotta work in Wall Street somewhere, motherfucker, amongst them niggas. But you ain't about to come into our little mom and pop shit and with us, you waste you a day. We ain't on that level. They told Isaac that, speaking about Isaac, the Philistines kicked him out. It was like, nigga, you get it. They ain't want to kill him or nothing like that because they know the Lord was dealing with him. They're like, listen, man, your shit is like, we tried to stop you a couple times by blocking the well. And shit like that. Listen, man. Get out of here, man.
They're saying they too dumb. Like we too dumb for you to be here. So you got to move on somewhere else. You're gonna outshine all of us.
And that's what Esau fear about the elect. Right? Yeah.
I was adding on what brother was mentioning earlier about, how he tries to keep everything scientific and things like that. Like, especially in the sports world. Example of Rocky Foreman saying, cancer. But essentially, by all accounts, when Rocky was fighting Ivan Drago, that was a mismatch. Ivan Drago was definitely more stronger. Yeah, and Rocky. If you analyze the fight between Ivan Drago and Rocky was trying to get the body the entire time. That's why he was trying to scream with Adonis, fought him the same way to beat his son. That's how he was father. I didn't try to go one up with him with power the entire time. That's why when you watch the interviews, yeah, because look, God, I be the most inside into his body. And basically, that's what he told him. Like Adonis, he had that one thing where he had that it was like a drill. It was like, yo, you gonna get right up underneath him right there. So it was a drill where it's like it's a tire. They both put their thing, and like, yo, you gotta be able to take them hits. It's like I had to take them same hits because the entire time I was hitting the body the entire time. But like I was saying, watch that fight again. Even if you watch like there's a extended fight, so they say a little couple extra things in there. It's a mismatch. Like, yo, you should be dead. Especially with like, Paulo died. So really, you should die as well. So how is it that you're lasting in this fight? It doesn't make any sense because when Rocky got knocked out one point, it's like, breathe, you can handle this. And he got up. Why? Because his spirit, his head was intact. That's what a lot of things like Esau goes scientifically. Like I'll mention sports. Oh, this guy's 6'5", 27 pounds. Oh, he's gonna be great in NFL. But then he becomes a bust. Because up here, not good. Like there's a quarterback named Jamarcus Russell. He had all the talent. 6'5", 250 pounds, arm, all that. It's like, yo, this guy's gonna be great in NFL. Why is it that he was a success? because he was lazy, and they said, like, yo, he didn't study or anything like that. Go back to faith. Right. So why is it that there are some other people who are small that may not be looked at as though they don't have the arm talent? Oh, Tom Brady's a perfect example. They have that thing when he got drafted, who looked skinny as hell, looking weird. But this dude come back later to win 7 championships. And then when you look at the documentaries, they always go for his mindset and things like that. Like you mentioned, his faith. It's like, yo, you don't look like a Joe Montana. You don't look like these other. You don't look hard, but you're doing the part. That doesn't make any sense. Like, why are you doing it? Because it all goes up here, the mind, spirit.
Mike Tyson, he didn't even have a crazy reach. That's weight, but still, he had the killer instinct. And he had the skill. Face, right? Exactly.
To like do something that like faith said, like the Lord said, the faith like nothing. Got like the faith to like really have the carnal tip. All dudes and be like, and be like, yo, they're telling something. I'm gonna do this to them. Like they have like a plan based off of faith. So what I'm gonna do to that big motherfucker, I'm gonna walk in there, I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna do this. And even if his plans get changed a little bit, he got some type of vision of what he wanna do. And even if he gets knocked down or whatever, a lot of big that got size and muscle, they got faith in their physical appearance. This little motherfucker, I'm gonna grab, I'm gonna do this and do that. So they got faith in their physical appearance, but people that's more smaller and facing a bigger person, they got more faith in the spirit.
But then Babylon and run. I was like,
Yeah. Well, you know what's heavy though? It's like, like with David and Goliath. Goliath had faith in his physical appearance because he was much bigger than David and his spirit. Yeah. But David had to have faith in something bigger than Goliath, which is the Most High. Use that to overcome him.
And
So,
with you ain't gotta get it, but it was Goliath told David, he said, I'm gonna kill you and feed you to the birds. But David said like 5 other things.
yeah.
He said, I'm gonna cut your head off. I'm gonna show the people. I'm gonna teach you that. David said like 5 more things. So when you read it though, we ain't gotta get it because we about to fill out. But when you read it, I was looking at that like Goliath just told him one thing or 1 or 2 things he's gonna do to him. But David mentioned like 7 things he's gonna do to him. Oh, no. Yeah, he was like, yo, step by step. I'm not all of that, but I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna send a stone through your head. Then while you bleeding out, I'm gonna chop it off. I'm gonna climb up on that rock with that heavy ass wood you got, and I'm gonna lift it up to the people, and I'm gonna praise you how about send you out a shot. And he's just like, damn. All right, fuck it, let's go with it. All right, but his shit talking was like, just soft, right? He did it because he believed it.
And he was anointed by Samuel before that even happened. Like,
That's why you mentioned. That's why you mentioned. So when you went on the lion, he was like the same God who was really on there on the lion. Like he still says, look, like he was saying, the first thing that he mentioned was the name of the Lord. It's like, look, you come to me with sword and spear, right? But I come to you in the name of the Lord. Right? So the Lord's gonna help me slay you. I'm gonna cut your head off. So he's straight to him. I'm gonna cut your head off. Then your body's gonna be for the corpse for all that. And then everybody here is gonna know that there's a God in Israel, and then y'all rest of your people is gonna be slaves.
Yeah, he gave him a whole. That part, yeah. He gave him a whole. I was like, damn. He gave him like a couple of words. He gave his ass a whole novel. You know, based off of his faith level.
You know, that definitely took up Elias a little bit. That took him up a little bit.
Yeah.
But sorry, I was gonna say, but that's what he told you who Jake is, because that's how our people talk. Make you get Jake fired up like, fuck this shit. I'm about to fuck this nigga. This nigga going. That's how they start, you know.
So grandma would tell this shit. Yeah. Like studying the Lord, like stuff out, like, or like, so I would get out amongst. I got run the store, shit like that. Of course, I could drive it around, but I usually I would get out amongst 10, 15, 20 like I'm my cousin in El Chapel. But I don't be disrespectful. But the way I pull out and get out and walk around and I breathe, I don't care. But I look at it, hey, how y'all fellas doing? And then you look at like, but it's like the way he came through, got out his car. I'm like, because Maryland not like technically like it, so you can park on the opposite side. So like, say the store right here, I can pull up right here, park and get out, and just run in. The police won't say nothing because people do that all the time. It's just it's still spread out. You know what I mean? So they're like, yo, this motherfucker. I won't leave my car. But I pull up on the other side. When I do that, they're like, yo, he gotta do something with this before like know somebody in the area. Then when I get out like fast enough. I'm not like I get out fast. Hey, what's up, fellas? How y'all fellas doing? I get my shit. I talk to the person. Yeah, man. How much shit? Like, all right, man. Check you, man. Get back in my shit. Now, even if they wanted to do something to me, it's still a skeptical thing. Like, what if this nigga know like the big home and this cousin? Like, this nigga is just way too like flamboyant, like just coming to me, like he's from the town. He's from the town. I don't know no fucking body. I'm a regular motherfucker, but I use that image. President Johnson, he said, "Who control images controls mind." And if you could change the way you view things, you would change the way you do things. And that's what fuck a lot of people up. Like everything is kind of like off of like, and it's taking the Lord controls that at the end of the day, off of your perception or how you things you perceive. So if I make you perceive that I'm from here and I'm comfortable with this neighborhood, even though you won't know me, if you wanted to attack me, you probably hold on, fearing repercussions. But actually, you could attack me.
You know, they got certain birds like that when they flash out the feathers and it looks scary as hell.
On the blowfish.
Yeah, that
On the
too.
blow.
Like, oh shit, I didn't know you was like that. But then they'll think twice about it, like, I don't know, all right, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. I'm gonna leave that one.
Even the hood, like those people that talk a lot. It was a wise quote. It says, "The emptiest vessels makes a louder sound. So are the same with people who hold a less wit." So, like, people that's not warriors or they say those that know don't say, and them that say, uh, them that know don't say, and them that say don't know. You know what I mean? So a lot of people that they don't. Right. I mean, let you up here. Put this some uh, points to what I'm saying. It's not scripture written in code, right? But it holds some truth. But it says them that say don't know and them that don't know don't say. Because like, you know, like and people like if you bang on an empty vessel, that shit gonna echo out for it. But if it had more feeling in it and you bang on it, it's gonna make less noise. So and that's kind of like the concept of life, because art imitates life. You know what I mean? So people that be like, rah, 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 they just trying to scare you with their words. But real warriors, and I knew of like a nice handful of them in my life, they was like really like quiet. They hardly even curse like that. They had like really curse words, but they either shot, killed somebody, or like beat somebody up real bad. And they never like anytime confrontation came, they always really tried to avoid it unless she pushed their back into the wall. And a lot of those dudes that was like, nah, nah, and they got loud on you and shit like that, they wasn't about nothing. They was hoping that you would take what they saying and the way they spitting it out and take fear from it and get you to bow down to their will. Like the blowfish.
That's a Nas song. Quiet niggas that kill, loud niggas talk shit that be the ones that get killed.
Yeah, and that's true. And when you look at things in life, like that's true. But a lot of those people that be like real charismatic and like putting on a show that's real loud and trying to they ain't about nothing. And even if though it looks like that on surface level, it's all bullshit. But it be the ones that's kind of like more standoffish and more easygoing, like this brother. Man, I don't know kind of shit right now. I don't know what this brother might do. You know what I mean? Because, you know, not saying he's like that, but who knows? Because he's like, so, you know what I mean? It'd be like, if you got wisdom, you would know, like, yo, it be them type dudes that's always that don't say nothing, that chill, and if some like shit got crazy, you be like, why you do that, man? And he's like, yo, I never knew like that type of monster inside of you. Yeah.
Perfect example. Trump and Putin. Trump stayed got flapping his gifts, man. And Putin is just a quiet, like he's just like, okay, get on the phone, cross the Iranian foreign minister, soft words, good word, but you know, shit goes down, he gonna let him fly.
Ice bath. Yeah. Fucking. I'll tell you, yeah, I tell you about it.
Empty vessels.
Yeah. Hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russ, got anything else?
No.
All right, gone. So we're going to here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, B'kach, B'dash. Until next time, Shalom.